My mother demanded that I invite my ex to my wedding. It made my fiance furious.
They're an ex for a reason, right?
I, 28 male, was a terrible person in the past. Great start. Which I have moved on from. Used to drink a lot and had cheated on my ex, 27 female, countless times in our 3-year relationship. Yikes. I don't know how she stuck with me for so long. So one day she found out I was cheating again and broke things off, which I don't blame her for.
Already see where this story's going.
I was cut off by my family, which was heartbreaking. By the way, this comes from Maintenance Alone, 2584, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I eventually improved myself, got in therapy, and eventually apologized and reconciled with my family. I found out my mother and my ex were still in contact, which I didn't mind. They were close even when I was with her. My family invites my ex to family gatherings as her family is, let's say, not that good. Which I, again, don't care. We both are civil and don't interact much. Eventually, I met a new girl, 28 female, and 1 year later, I'm engaged to her.
All right.
Yeah, she knows how I was in the past, as I told her.
That was going to be my first question.
Yeah, I was going to be, does she know about all that stuff? We're planning a wedding to host only close friends and family. Then, problem arrives.
Put it on it.
That my mother, who's close with my ex, wants to invite her to the wedding, and my fiance is absolutely furious. And the reason my mother is giving is that it's a family event.
Okay, I understand when mothers and girlfriends or ex-girlfriends are really tight and they're cool. Like, I'm pretty cool with some of the dads of the girlfriends I used to date. I understand you always have that idea of family. But
not
this isn't
the
family event. Yeah, not at the wedding.
Their wedding. It's not a family event.
No, you can invite them over for a Wednesday dinner.
Yeah.
Or like, Sunday lunch. Whatever. Cool. Family.
Also, why would his ex, who we cheated on multiple times, even want to go to the wedding?
I know why.
Is she like jealous? Is she trying to get back at him for all the stuff that he did?
She still got a lot of love for him. If you're willing
That's unhealthy.
to stay with someone after they cheated with you multiple times, I understand once trying to get through it.
I don't think she knew. I think she found out and then broke up with him.
No, she knew.
She said she knew?
Yeah, she knew. And then the last time she found out and broke up with him. So I think there's still a lot of love left. Even if you're still, even if you're hanging out with the mom after they're done, after you're done with them, come on. You're in love with the family. You want that. You want to be in that wedding dress. Maybe she's going to thinking, oh, maybe she'll forget to put it on, and I'll come in.
Slip in. Honestly, I don't want her to be in my wedding too. I called her to talk about it, and she told me the same dang thing. She doesn't want to be in my wedding, but my mother's insisting, which is infuriating.
Okay, found the problem.
That's stupid. That's a stupid excuse. Oh, I get it. I don't want to be there either, but your mom said I got to do it. You just say no.
And she's got to do it for the mom. You know how many white chicken chilies she'd made for her?
What?
The mom? White chicken chili? Yeah, white chicken chili.
What is that?
It's a white chicken chili. It's a thing. Right, Keon? You know about white chicken chili?
Are you saying like the color white or like a white person's chicken chili?
No. Just like a white chicken chili.
What? That did not explain any of that.
It's a chili.
A white chicken chili.
Yeah, it's like a type of chili people do.
Okay.
Guys, do you not like my dogs out? Do I need to go put them up?
Yeah, go put your feet away. Gross.
Look.
Gross.
I got a monkey toe.
Dude, put socks on. I don't want to see your feet. Stop. Go put socks on.
Fine. I'll leave you with this. The girlfriend feels entitled, or not entitled, feels like she owes the mom, so she's going to do whatever the mom wants.
Yeah.
White chicken chili is awesome. Thank you, Theresa. Thank you.
I don't understand.
I also have you seen me?
What? Oh, so you can't have white chicken chili. I just don't understand.
Comments.
Why? I don't understand.
He just said he didn't really explain it. He just said
all chicken is
white chicken chili. I'm
the
like,
same color.
Can someone explain it?
Yeah.
Better than
white
Riley?
beans and chicken. It's real. Now that makes sense. It's white.
But what's the purpose of it?
Chicken chili.
Is it like an olive branch kind of?
It's just a type of spices you do it. Riley, your feet look like my brother's. Why do you know what your brother's feet look like?
What?
Just looking at a comment.
How would you not? Stop. I don't want to see them. All right.
They're going away, guys.
What is this? All right, I'm reading. My mother is still saying she won't come if my ex isn't coming, and my fiance had arguments with her. I am seriously thinking of not inviting her at the moment, but if she doesn't come, I'm afraid that I might be cut off from my family again. This is so infuriating. And comments, Aqua Tumbo says, it's your wedding, not your mom's wedding. Tell your mom outright. She doesn't want to come. I don't want her to come. Fiance doesn't want her to come. Stop being weird about it and let it go. Do not invite her. It is a weird entitlement when parents dictate guest lists anyway. Unless they're paying, they get no say. If they are paying, you have the right to draw boundaries. Good luck. If your mom is that hung up on it, maybe you have to let her go too. Next Effect says, you realize your mother hasn't forgiven you, right? And there is an update a day later, but
oh, dude.
Awesome Ashley says time to elope. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really, want to keep this relationship with your family, if that is kind of priority, you might. I feel like the options are you either don't have the wedding and elope, or you have the wedding and tell your mom to stick it.
I think this is way out of proportion here. I don't think we need to elope or cancel the wedding. I believe every person that has a wedding, there's a problem. There's some sort of problem, some way, somehow. Someone's not happy with something. If you think about it high level, the wife's family, all good. Nothing's going on there. Mom, dad, brother, cousin, sister, whatever. Everything's good there. OP's family, the only person that's upset is the mom.
The second option of telling her to stick it.
Yep. So you can stick it. And I think just go on about things. If she doesn't like it, okay, whatever. You can't, don't ruin your whole day, wedding, and all that stuff. Secret wedding, I don't even think so. I think you just go on as usual.
Tell her
business
to stick
as usual, dude.
There is an update, though. My brother, 34 male, called me to say that I did the right thing, which was a relief.
Let's go.
Going further, I would probably go low contact with my mother. My ex called me and my fiance, talked to her on speaker, and she apologized and said she said no to my mother and won't drop it. I said, okay. And of course, she's not invited. My father said he's not coming if his wife is not coming, which is valid. So the wedding is actually small with 50 people, but the planned reception is huge with 150 people, which my father is throwing on my behalf. My mother will be there, so there might be drama. And edit should have added that my father and father-in-law both are throwing receptions together. I will have security just in case in the wedding. Comments, G Drom says, I'm glad you put your foot down. Since your father is hosting for the reception, are you sure he won't cancel it from being pressured by your mother? That's my worry. Do you have a backup plan just in case? OP says, father said mother won't do anything stupid at the reception and ex is not invited in the reception. Why was
the
she
mom
invited?
has a backup plan.
Yeah, she's like, don't worry. Everything's going according to plan.
Oh, shoot. The bride didn't show up. Who can we have to replace her?
And the bride's in like a closet. She's going, help, let me out.
Yes,
let me out.
Scooby dude tied up.
Yeah.
That happened in the Bible once.
What?
This
Scooby-Doo?
guy, sorry, little okay Bible time. Sorry. This one dude worked 7 years to marry a woman.
Uh-huh.
And the dad, so in the Jewish culture, your whole body is veiled so you don't see the face until you get married. So then when he got married to her and said, I do, lifted up, it was the sister.
Yeah,
so he had to work another 7 years
I do
to get
remember
another
that
wife.
Story.
Imagine that. Imagine that's what the mom's trying to do here.
Yeah, she's like, I've tricked ya. You've married your ex who broke up with you because you sucked.
How dare you?
Remarkable pair. So your dad's not going to go to his own son's wedding because his wife is a ... But will go to the reception looking like a loser who didn't go to his own son's wedding? Got it. OP says, I don't know. My brothers don't have close relationships with my dad. To be honest, I am the favorite child who was spoiled rotten by him. That was the reason I was terrible in the past. That's crazy. I'm sorry. You're the favorite child and your dad's not even coming to your wedding? Update 2. Mother and father aren't coming to the reception either. Who could have seen that coming? 3 days later. So I had a talk with father-in-law and fiance about the situation, and my father-in-law will alone cover the reception cost. I offered some money to him, but he refused, saying I'm like his son, which made me tear up. Oh, okay, so OP's fiance's dad is paying for everything now. And my father and father-in-law had a shouting match on the phone about it, so father and mother aren't coming to the reception anymore. Fiance is happy, and I'm happy that our wedding and reception area are going to be drama-free. We will definitely have security there, but it's going to be hard explaining to everyone what happened, and many people are going to bail out of the wedding. I haven't talked to them since, and will probably contact father after the wedding and reception are over. I think if anyone says, why aren't your parents here? You say, they really wanted my ex to come and then refused to show up.
It's either my ex or my bride.
Yeah.
Good thing you're getting a new family.
Yeah, like literally you just go, they really wanted my ex to show up, and she didn't want to show up, and so they refused to come.
That's ridiculous.
That's exactly what happened. At the end, at the end of the day, your ex didn't want to come, and they're making a decision because your ex didn't want to come.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, yeah, you also said I don't want her to come, but she made that decision in the end. So I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah. Also, do you get what I'm saying about him getting a new family?
Yeah, with the wife.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get rid of the old family.
Get a new one.
Good thing that's wild. Imagine making a stance like this. One the ex there, and you're not even gonna show up for the wedding.
Oh. Last night, I'm gonna be honest, I cried like a baby saying that my mother and father aren't gonna be there. But my fiance comforted me, probably the most amazing woman I've met. Can't wait to spend my life with her, and I failed my PhD exam, lol. Results came a few hours ago. Gotta try afterwards, I guess. Going forward, I'm probably gonna be low contact with father and no contact with mother. And some comments. Tofu T says, man, life's throwing some wild curveballs at ya. Keep your chin up. Remember, at the end of the day, it's about you and your amazing fiance. Wishing you both a drama-free and lovely day. MCA says, and don't contact your father after your wedding. Let him reach out to you. He chose not to attend. And OP says, okay. Lucky Guest says, OP, that advice is solid. Do not bow down to your parents. Do not reach out first. Let them come to you. And absolutely, they are not allowed back in your lives until they give a heartfelt apology to your wife. That should be the first step. In fact, a phone call should go something like this. There's nothing.
Thank you, commenter.
But there is a third update, folks.
Real quick. I feel like they are allowed to give a heartfelt apology up until OP and the fiance have kids.
Oh, and then it's like you're too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
You have this
'cause
window.
you're trying to get back to be grandparents. Yeah.
You have this window of whenever everything dropped out and up until I have kids. Because, dude, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, mother and fathers, they all come crawling back to the kids whenever they have them.
Don't let them come back and say, oh, well, we just want to see the kids. We just feel so bad about how everything happened. It's like, no. You had made no attempts, hypothetically, to come back and apologize, and now you want to be here with the kids?
Yeah.
What's to stop you from making some other demand in future?
I think we should have a game show whenever parents want to come back in for the kids' lives. Like, oh, they wrecked my lives. We go no contact. They want to come in. Okay, game show.
What have you learned?
What have you learned, and how much money is it going to cost for you to come back for the kids?
Oh.
And then use all that money you win, put it into a savings account,
For
and then
their
by
college.
the time, they're 18, they got a college fund.
Perfect. But there is a third update. I am married now, and she's the most wonderful woman I could have gotten 10 days later.
10 days later.
Yes. So yesterday I got married. Yay! It was the happiest day of my life, but yeah, it sucked not having my parents there, whom I thought wouldn't go this much against me. They didn't even come to the reception either. I honestly cried after the reception, but my fiancé was understanding and comforted me.
Aww.
I couldn't have asked for a better half than her. My ex had sent a message of congratulations after the wedding, which I replied with thanks. Such an awkward situation for her. So awkward. She's like, your mom keeps bullying me to come to your wedding. I don't want to come. Congrats, though, about your wedding. I hope you don't cheat on her.
Kind of the reason, your parents aren't at your wedding. Sorry. Question mark.
After the wedding, I still haven't contacted my parents, but my father sent an air fryer as a wedding gift to my address, which is like an appliance, so gonna use it.
Dude, I love me an appliance.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get an air fryer. Oh
well,
my gosh.
Aren't you gonna? Isn't the one we have yours?
No.
Oh, whose is that?
I have. It was here whenever I got here.
Maybe we can get rid of it.
You don't like it?
No.
Why not?
It's so big.
I like it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll just take it with me.
Yeah, take it with you.
Heck yeah.
I mean, Christian's got his. Sam doesn't use the air fryer.
I'm the only one that really uses it.
Exactly. Take it.
All right. Cool.
It's all yours.
Thanks, guys.
Happy birthday. By the way, you know what also makes people happy? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Perfectly executed. This makes me want to write a book. It's called the SOP book.
Uh-huh.
And it talks about all the things like you are encountered with this.
Yeah, this is how you proceed.
And then we have links to our videos on there.
I like it.
And then at the back of the book, we have like descriptions of like sunk cost fallacy. We give it a definition. Or like, what's another one, Keon? Like a word
Monkey
we
branching.
use? Monkey branching. Yes.
I was gonna say monkey branching was.
You were too?
Yeah.
Wait,
it's a very
what?
common one.
Did you guys just separately think of that and then set it together?
We honestly do that more than you think.
Yeah, we're constantly on the same top. Like.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's very weird.
I don't know. Anyways, that's all I have to say. It's just OP. You have executed this perfectly. Where I want to write a book.
Yeah, I think it's just like, you know, if you're ever worried about how your family's gonna react to something that you and your partner have decided, and you're like, oh, they're gonna leave me, they're gonna, you know, cut me off or whatever. If they're willing to cut off family members because they don't get their way, that they don't really care about you, and that sucks.
They don't respect you. And they're not going to respect your family, and they're going to act like Kimberly Howley said a great point. They're going to come crawling back, but their attitudes are still going to be the same. You should have had kids with your ex.
Indeed. But let's finish this off. The reception was awesome too. Thanks to y'all for those wonderful comments. I honestly thought I don't deserve all this due to how terrible I was in the past, but people can change. If you have done something wrong in the past, don't let it define yourself. Keep it in your mind and move on. You can change.
And what I like about this is he came out, said what he did.
Yeah.
But you can see while he's writing.
Oh, yeah.
He's level-headed now.
I think so.
At first, I was like,
yeah.
I don't blame her for breaking up with me. He was like, what? But
yeah, I mean, you did deserve to be broken up with. She should not have stayed with you after that. But it seems like you have, you know, learned since then.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
Good.
Yeah.
Playful Rainbow, good for you. Growth is uncomfortable and messy, but you pushed through it. You held firm on boundaries, owned your past, and chose love built on mutual respect. That's real redemption. And hey, enjoy that air fryer. It's petty peace in appliance form. Willing Lemon says, well done on your self-awareness, admitting fault, and consciously trying to be a better person. Unfortunately, there will still be doubters and negative people. Ignore them and just keep making positive changes. I'm sorry about your family. I think even your ex saw it was inappropriate for her to attend. Your mom has lots of issues, and if she was truly a friend / cared for your ex, she wouldn't want her at your wedding. It would have created drama that your ex would have been in the spotlight / firing line for. Your mom not attending your wedding is just a symptom of the bigger relationship issues. But not attending was the final nail. It was a time when she could witness you truly being happy. It's like she can't forgive you for something you did to someone else. She's holding on to something that everyone else has moved on from. I guess this is her hill. She hasn't even given your wife a fair chance. Go for therapy and embrace your wife's family. They sound great. Congratulations. When you grow, learn, and work on your character, you deserve to be happy. Good luck. And OP says, yeah, she's a good person. I brought drama into X's life. Glad she moved on now, and I'm not there. I have a new half to focus on. And folks, that's the end of that story. And there you go. OP's figuring it out. And now you've got a new family to figure it out with. And you got your partner. And that's lovely.
And you can make new family.
Keep it going. Keep the cycle going. Anyway, what's the next story? I'm struggling to introduce my fiance to my family because they won't like him.
Sounds like it's time to cut him off.
I need some help / pointers for introducing my fiance to my family and giving him some much needed disclaimers before the introduction. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 17033. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, a bit of background, my fiance and I are of different ethnicities and races. I was born in the U.S. to immigrant parents who raised me to date and eventually marry a man from the same part of the world that we're from. I've always known there would be a major issue if I brought anyone else home, so I generally haven't brought anyone home. I don't have a good relationship with my parents because of it. They put me down a lot and make comments that amount to not thinking I'm marriage material because I do things like speak my mind, have a college degree, and have a job.
Yeah, that definitely does not help.
You're not marriage material because you have opinions. No marriages for you. My fiance and I have been engaged since February 14th. I haven't told my family yet because I don't want to deal with their crap. My fiance is pretty upset that they don't know, and we've mutually decided to tell them at my cousin's wedding in May. I am extremely nervous. I know my parents will have many rude comments and questions, and I have no idea how to prepare him for any of this. I have told him that they don't approve of my dating out, but he doesn't get it. His family is open and loving. They've always been happy that we're together. I am so ashamed of the way that I know my family will act. He's so excited to meet them, in spite of my attempts to explain how they'll be. He's taking a lot of time off work to travel to this wedding, thinking it will be a great family bonding thing. And I know it's going to be horrible. I'm literally sick with worry. What should I do? Thanks. Comment 1 says, I would not tell them at your cousin's wedding. What if they made a scene? I would give them a warning ahead of time, even if it is over the phone. Reply, seriously, do not do this. This is your cousin's day, and by hijacking it with your engagement announcement, that's just tacky, even if it's because you're too chicken to tell your parents that you are engaged privately. Opie says, okay, I hadn't thought about that. That makes a lot of sense. We were planning to do introductions, not at the ceremony, but a few days before when everyone arrived for the wedding. But I see how that would be rude to disrupt the wedding vibe with my news. Thank you. Comment 2, I think you need to be more blunt with your fiance. You need to tell him you're so worried because they are discriminatory people and you want him to try and be mentally prepared for that. It sounds like you're trying to be too gentle, not to hurt his feelings, but I don't see how else you can prepare him for the inevitable. I agree. Comment 3,
rip the band-aid off on that one.
And then stab him with the truth. Comment 3, have you told them flatly that when it comes to you dating outside your race, your family are unreasonable and discriminatory and they will freak out? I mean, real honesty. Personally, I'd lay down some ground rules. If they want to be involved in your life, then they need to treat your fiance decently. If not, you just won't attend family functions since he's now a part of your family and you won't see him treated badly. Opie says, yes, I've told him, but he doesn't fully understand it. What is it going to take for this man to understand it? It isn't anything he's personally dealt with before. I'm going to go ahead and tell them prior. Everyone here has convinced me that I need to do that. I don't really have a relationship with my parents. I left home at 18 for college and have supported myself since then. They don't approve of my lifestyle because I have been focused on my career and not focused on finding a husband. I can't stomach much of them, so I don't.
Two things here.
An update.
One, a smart man. How does the saying go? A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from others. Yeah. That's one thing. I don't know if he's willing to see that. And 2, you could tell people so many times how things are going to play out, but if they deny it, they just got to see it happen and learn on themselves.
That's the thing. Like, you can, if he's just not willing to believe you can be like, okay, well, I warned you. They're not going to like you. I warned you.
I think this might work out this way. They just got to see it through.
Yeah. Just want to give an update and thank everyone here. I actually shared this post with him and it was a great help. Oh. He's actually more aware than I realized. He was downplaying his reaction somewhat as a way of putting less pressure and expectation on me. I didn't see that at all, so I was very worried that he would be crushed. In reality, he's pretty well braced for a horrible in-law relationship. We had a very productive discussion about how we want to handle things in the future. We didn't make any concrete decisions, but I'm quite tired of feeling rejected and being treated as a source of shame by my parents. I'm considering getting some professional help to better cope and also feel comfortable about moving forward in my life without them.
They're the butt of the joke for their whole lives. OP is. Anytime anything goes wrong, OP.
Yeah. It's like OP's not even there.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before in families.
I've never considered this before, but my fiance thinks it's worth a try. I called my cousin last night and she wasn't as understanding as I hoped she would be. She wants me to come alone rather than reimburse her for the cost of our seats if it becomes clear that my parents will be a problem. She doesn't want to have any empty seats. I tried to explain that I don't want to set a precedent that amounts to tolerating my parents' disrespect of my fiance and our relationship, but she wasn't supportive. I feel bad for springing this on her last minute, so I'm still hoping things go well enough with my parents so that we can all go and have a good time. I'm actually looking forward to it now that I know that my fiance has a more realistic expectation.
Okay, Cheryl says, taking him to a family wedding might not be the best time to do the introduction. Introduce him when nothing else is going on. I wholeheartedly agree with this because she's asking the cousin's permission,
a lot of
right? Okay, if I know the cousin and I know the family and the dynamic, I'd be like, no, please.
Well, it's just adding a lot of drama to the wedding, which is frustrating. Like, I think as the bride, you'd be like, okay, you're bringing this new person that you know that all the parents are gonna hate, and I get that maybe she even understands that the parents kind of suck, but she's like, it's about me, my day.
No, this is wild.
I'm gonna call my parents tonight. I will post an update to let everyone know the outcome, and there is a second update. I wanted to come back and say thanks and give an update. My fiance and I actually read the post together. He was more prepared for my parents' reaction than I realized, but still not entirely. I spoke to my parents last night and it was horrible. Really horrible.
Who would have thought?
My parents don't know how to use Skype, so I called them from my cell to see if they would get on FaceTime with me. I don't have an iPhone, I use Android, but my fiance's work phone is an iPhone, so I called them back from his phone. Bad idea. I told them alone while my fiance was prepping dinner. Our plan was that he would come into the room with me if they acted decently, which they didn't. After I told them, my mom left the room where she was sitting with my dad and went to another room. She started breaking things, being super dramatic by coming back into the room occasionally to hurl insults. My dad stayed on the phone and told me that I'm a POS. I'm destroying my life and theirs. I'm ungrateful. He finally asked me to be decent and stay gone before he disconnected.
Oh my gosh.
That's devastating.
What?
I mean, like you already have a bad relationship with the parents, but wow, like just what a horrible reaction.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Breaking things?
Just
That is the most stupid thing I've ever heard. Oh,
Yeah.
I disagree with someone. I'm going to go to my house and break my own things.
That's true. You're breaking your own things. You're not even breaking their things.
Yeah.
That's how
like,
big brain the parents are.
that
Well,
is
clearly,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh, I got to go buy a new TV. Thanks, OP, for being the worst daughter ever.
Yeah. This is all your fault.
I'm thinking they have a TV that's the same size as Michael in the office. Like,
Oh,
his flat screen
Oh,
TV.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Ah, great episode.
The icing on the cake was when they had my older brother call back on my fiance's phone. At first, he said that my dad was taking my mom to the ER because I caused her to have a breakdown. But then it just degenerated into more verbal abuse. It became pretty clear that he was just calling to be disgusting. I tried asking him to please leave us alone and stop, but he won't stop calling. Now this morning, I'm getting pestering texts from his wife's phone number as well. I don't know which of them is sending it, but it turned my phone off and I'll think about what to do later. My family had a delusion that I was going to eventually end up with the son of a family friend, so that has made the entire situation a lot worse. I dated the son for a short while years ago, but ended things when he became violent. And this is what they want for you?
They want you to be in their standards because that's the only acceptable way.
No, they literally don't care about your happiness or your safety at all. They just care about like the visual.
Yeah.
You know, they care about the optics of your life.
Yeah, you just be done with them.
Yeah. My family never accepted my reasons for not wanting to be with him as good enough. So anytime there's a family event and he's there, they'll make intrusive comments and do things to try to force me to entertain him or be alone with him. Ironically, they asked a lot of questions amounting to the assumption that I'm either with my fiance because I'm afraid to leave him or pregnant. As if they would actually care if I was being mistreated now when they never cared before. I can't help but wonder what motivates them. I still need to call my cousin again and let her know that we aren't going to the wedding. I need to find out if we can transfer credit to another hotel and still try to salvage a vacation. I don't want to be in the same hotel as my mother or even in the same city if I can avoid it. I'm pretty sure that she will not cool down in a month and will probably try to physically attack me if we're in the same venue. By the way, you should cool down and listen to another full episode of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime to listen to the cool, soothing tones of the summer. But there is a little bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I want this to be on the worst mothers ever compilations that we have.
Yeah. But you know, you've got a new family with your fiance, and hopefully it seems like his family's pretty cool.
Yep.
So it's just like focusing on that. And it really is horrible and sad that you don't have the support of your family. But, you know, just like realizing that you do have support. I'm also pretty sure that my cousin is still going to be annoyed with me, even though I'm reimbursing her for the cost of our attendance and sending her a gift. I just don't feel right leaving my fiance at home when he hasn't done anything wrong. I don't want to condone my parents' behavior, and frankly, if they can't accept me and the man I love and trust us both with respect, I really don't care to have a relationship with them. If they need me, I'll be there for them, but for the sake of my own mental health, I can't handle them anymore. Anyway, thanks again for all your comments and kind, supportive messages. And comments, really quickly to finish the story off. Comment 1 says, send them a short, quick to the point message from your phone or whatever service you feel like, and then block them. If anyone else contacts you regarding them in any rude way, instant block. Mom, Dad, I will not be contacting you until you decide to act like adults and treat me and my fiance with respect. Goodbye, or something like that. OP says, I'm kind of staying away from all my family right now. I don't want to give anyone an in to reach me because past experience makes me feel like none of them will have anything nice to say. I probably won't send them any more messages, at least not right now. I'm tired of begging them to accept me. Plus, I feel like if I say or do something that they construe as rude, they will just use it as fuel to turn what family I may still have against me. I don't want to block them in the event that something important happens, but for now I may, just until I feel like I can handle things a bit better. And that is the end of that story.
I feel like if you went to the wedding, they might try to kidnap you, because if they just break things in their house just to be like, hey, I'm with someone, and they go crazy, they might try to kidnap you and make you marry someone else. So don't go for your safety.
I think they'll just cause drama.
Dude, they might. I don't know, man. Dude, depending on the heritage or the culture, dowries go for a pretty penny these days, and they might try to sell her off or something. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a wild thing.
Wild take. But I think they're gonna cause problems. Is the real problem here, and we don't need them in our lives.
No, we don't.
My friend cried at my engagement party because she wasn't the center of it.
You always steal the attention.
As they're walking down the aisle. I have a friend of about 10 years, let's call her L, that I asked to help with my wedding by being my day of coordinator. I'm a wedding planner myself. I just need someone I can trust to pull off the timing. She's a wedding planner in New York City for high-end clients, so I know just how skilled she is firsthand. She was thrilled to work with me. For about 8 months, we met for coffee and chatted every so often to catch her up on my plans. It felt like an absolutely perfect fit. By the way, this comes from user Pretty Promenade. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, fast forward to my engagement party. My maid of honor hosted the party and my bridesmaids put it all together. It was a beautiful masterpiece and could not been any better.
Aw.
It was magical. Until about 1 hour before the end.
Oh.
Oh no, you had us in the first half. All of a sudden, my friend L is in tears.
Okay.
She informs me that she remembered that today was the anniversary of a really traumatic event in her life, and she was having a panic attack. I was so concerned for her, and I wanted her to have her privacy and know that I was there for her. I sat with her after my maid of honor consoled her, and we hugged and cried together as I talked her through it. She said she wanted to rejoin the group, but ultimately ended up leaving after going to the bathroom without saying anything to anyone. We sent her some texts, but knew she would need some time and space before she replied. The next morning, I wake up to a voicemail from L saying that she'll no longer be my coordinator because she felt unsupported and betrayed while she was going through a crisis. Oh, man. That's really not what it read like. It read like everyone was trying to support you and you left.
Yep.
She felt the party shouldn't have continued and we should have focused on cheering her up as a group. She also felt unthanked for planning my party. I was pretty shocked, not only because of her accusations, but my bridesmaids planned my party and my maid of honor was the host. Am I missing something here? I apologized to her and told her I really thought I had tried my best to comfort her and help, but that really was not good enough to her and sounded like excuses. I can't stop thinking about how I just feel like I have whiplash about this whole thing. It was supposed to be and was, at first, one of our happiest days leading up to our wedding, but the hours and days following it have just felt like a dark cloud. Now we are 6 months away from the wedding with a lot of loose ends and a bruised heart. Am I overreacting?
Dude,
and there are some relevant comments. Wait a minute.
I was in the shower thinking of a title for these kind of people, and they're maidzillas.
Maidzillas. Because this isn't her wife or fiance. I'm having a mental health crisis.
Yeah?
Everything around me needs to stop, and everyone needs to make me priority one and only. And short of that, I will feel like I was not taken care of or acknowledged or looked after. That is an unfair level of expectation.
What the heck, bro?
You know, I think you just got to be like, well, you process whatever you're going through at whatever rate you need to take, and I'm going to continue with my wedding. I don't think you can do anything.
Yeah, you got to take them off the payroll, man. Take them off the payroll. Anyways.
Because they tried to help. It's not like they just put her in the broom closet.
No.
They tried to help.
She took her to the side and worked with, like cried
Maid
with
of
her.
honor consoled her, then she consoled her. It's like trying to get, hey, whatever.
Yeah. Wild, dude, wild.
You had to take the glasses off for that. We had some comments. Number 1, a high-end wedding planner should know that the wedding festivities go on despite their own feelings. Trying to hijack your attention from your own engagement party reeks of deeper issues. If you feel she deserves one good conversation and maybe a chance, it seems reasonable given her previous reputation. However, if you think separation would ease any anxiety, you would be well justified. OP says, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I guess I just feel guilty for resting on it's my party, in a sense. But maybe I'm boiling it down too much. I didn't try to convince her to stay because I would be destroyed if something like this happened again on my wedding night, as much as I hate to say it. Edit, and you make a really great point about being professional. Comment 2 says, not overreacting. Do you think maybe she's a bit jealous that someone else threw an event that you loved so much? That it's her bag and somehow she resents that the party went well and directed those emotions towards you? You did nothing wrong, and it would have been wrong and insanely awkward for everyone else to stop the party because she was upset. A rational person would have taken themselves away from the party or even went home if they were that distressed.
Mm-hmm.
Opie says, wow, I hadn't considered that she was jealous for that reason, but you could be right. She had said a few things that seemed off to me, like they were compliments, but somehow she wasn't happy about it for me, and I didn't know what to make of it. Thank you for saying so. I tried to put myself in her shoes and felt sympathy for her, but had trouble reconciling with her conclusions. Do you think it's worth being honest with her in any capacity? What I mean is, at our last convo, she said she needed an apology and to express herself and achieved those things. But I was blindsided, so I can't say I did a good job defending myself or knowing that I needed to in the first place. Commenter 3 says, I'm sorry. After what I'm assuming was over a period of time worth of discussions about the engagement party and just friend-to-friend conversations, because that is what friends do, since she didn't plan or host it, how did it take until 1 hour before it ended for her to remember the anniversary of this tragic event?
Ooh, why did that not come up beforehand? If it really bothered her, let's just do it next weekend.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
But it is a little suspicious.
Little fishy.
I'll admit I have some events that have happened in my life I consider to be tragic, but I'm still a little shaky on the dates. I may not remember the exact date, but I know the time frame. Or I might be consumed by life and not actually realize that today is that date. But she had to have known the date of the engagement party and had talked about it on more than one occasion. How did she never remember an event that was so tragic to the point of having a panic attack was approaching? Let's just say that's what happened. Why are you expected to end your celebration to cater to her? You and others took the time out to step aside and console her. You gave her time and privacy to gather herself. She decided she couldn't handle it and left without notice. How is that your fault? Did she really expect you to tell your guests the party was over because she suddenly remembered a tragic event that you seem to be unaware of, though I could be wrong, during the 10-year friendship that you've had? I don't mean to sound harsh, but if she didn't need or expect your support for this anniversary every year, why were you expected to put your life on hold for it that day? I would like to think that if you'd known about it, you wouldn't have had it on that day, or at the very least, told her you would understand that she couldn't make it. But how are you to do this in consideration of something that happened in her life that she didn't even remember herself? Yes, that comment very eloquently points out that it's a little fishy that after all this time, things have gone down in this way. Not to mention, it's unbelievably crazy to expect everyone around you to drop everything going on because of something that is acutely affecting you alone, which they, to be clear, did take time to take her aside and try to be like, are you okay? We want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah. She literally sat down from her party and consoled her. I'm really, really kind of blocked by this person's maturity. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, if I'm going through something tough. Like, I am going through something tough right now, and I haven't really shared it with a lot of people, but I don't focus on that. And I know like different things happen to different people, but if I'm planning something around this time frame that I know something tragic happened to me, I just don't understand the sense of planning it on that exact day. Or are we just whipping it out of our butt just to get some, I don't know, attention? Is this actually a really big thing to us, or are we seeking attention? Because I'm hoping this is a really big thing to her. I'm really sorry that happened, but I'm hoping that's the case.
It seems dubious at best.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said for not realizing what day it is, so I won't sit here and speculate on that. But one thing I will say is that throughout the past 4 months that the party was being planned, she never once mentioned it when I told her the date, sent her the invitation, and we made plans for her to come to town surrounding the date. Her goal was to attend the party and also make a weekend out of wedding planning before and afterwards. About 3 days prior to the party...
4 months?
Yeah. 4 months? Which, you know, say all of this is say this is true and she really did forget and she remembered the day. Like, imagine, like, oh, I forgot that was the day because I was so focused on it being your party that I forgot about that.
I really hope this isn't something bad where I'm going to feel bad for bashing this person over.
Sure. I mean,
it might be that case.
Something bad things happen to everybody.
Yeah. And I know the comments are going to be like, you're such a horrible person. That's what's going to happen.
But no, OP went. The due diligence was done here.
Yeah.
Regardless of if it's real or fake. The right steps were taken to look after you. About 3 days prior to the party, she did tell me a story about this traumatic event, but I had no context for how long ago it happened, or that I should know this weekend was going to be an important date in that story. So she did know about it.
She didn't know when it happened.
Okay. I felt oblivious to the small details I ended up being held responsible for. I'll be honest and say that I wouldn't move my party if it was already planned, but I would understand if she couldn't come. OP clarifies details on if she was planning to pay L for doing the wedding planning. OP says thank you, and yes, just for clarity, I was going to cover her costs for travel, gas, lodging, etc., as it pertains to the wedding coordinating. So since I won't be incurring any of those, I guess a thank you note will do. And yes, I think you're right that I can't possibly have her at my wedding. She wasn't even on my radar of people to worry about, and I don't need to knowingly add one, that's for sure. I don't doubt that something like this would definitely happen again. I offered to pay, but she insisted it be a gift. I insisted I at least cover the expenses. Plus, she's the day of coordinator. I am planning the entire wedding down to decor and the agenda. She would execute organization schedule and directing staff. So you think I deserve to have this happen because she insisted on gifting her services, and I'm curious what you think I could have done differently. And there's an update here.
No,
I don't even think that's what they were saying.
I feel like a lot of people assume you to react to something that hasn't happened. I feel like that's a lot of comment things. This react, cause and effect. This cause, you do an effect, you have a reaction to what just happened. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Update. Hey everyone, I have an update. My ex-wedding coordinator, after an apparent deliberation in the past few weeks, is saying she realizes how selfish she had been and how poorly she treated me at the surrounding party. All right. Dude, this is super mature. I feel like my maid of honor must have said something to her. I know what I've been able to gather from her 45-second voicemails that she'd been leaving me before they cut her off. She seemed to be sincere in wanting to apologize face to face. And that's okay, I guess. But I'm struggling with whether or not it's right for me to be friends with someone like this, even if they're not invited to the wedding and don't live near me. And how do you be friends with someone you wouldn't invite to your wedding? Not because the guest list is full, but no matter how long or short the guest list was. This is a good point. I don't know if I'd still be friends with this person. They pulled this. Anyway, I'd hear her out. Let's hear her out. I haven't heard her out yet because she's asking for some form of communication with me. I don't even think I'm willing to have a conversation with her to take her apology, but probably prefer her to write it to me instead, whether that be email, text, or if she prefers handwriting. I just don't want to be caught in a torrent of rebuttals and buts tacked on the end of what was supposed to be an apology for me. I'm terrified of getting baited into a conversation where I feel yet again cornered and bullied because she turns it around on me somehow. My head is in a little spinny. Help.
Help.
Do you think she might turn this on, OP?
Yeah. I mean, with everything that's going on, and energy vampire for sure. So I'm tired of, I'm drained already.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't even know this person.
Dude, imagine knowing this person.
I don't want to.
Update 2. Thank you to everyone that read the post before commenting, and thank you for your words of encouragement. Just to clarify, I never received any apology in the voicemail she left, so whether or not I speak to her again, I don't consider it apology accepted. She's not forgiven. Also, she was never going to be my wedding coordinator after the day that she tried to withdraw. There's no changing that. I'm an experienced event planner and have learned that when a vendor lets you down big time the first time, you let them go forever. It wasn't going to be that way with our friendship until all of this went down. I let her know that I did receive her voicemails, but do not wish to speak to her and have nothing left to say outside of what my maid of honor likely said to her from all the crying I did to her while I was still processing all of this. I let her know a few more things I felt she should know and that she can write to me, but I won't be responding as if it's a back and forth. This isn't up for debate. I'll update here again if/when she writes. And you can write OK Storytime in your favorite freaking podcast platform on Apple, Spotify, wherever to listen to more stories just like this. OK Storytime. Type it in and boom. We got a third update.
Another one?
Another one.
Wow. Let's do this last update. I got an email from Elle today, and she was too pissed off at me for unfriending/unfollowing her on social media. So she told me that she didn't have any time for my BS. It was as short as that, really. So there's nothing left to do or say. And maybe I won't forgive her, but I'll do my best to forget about it. I think you should do both of those things. Thanks to everyone that commented and was invested. Each of you gave me a little support. And there are some comments here. Number 1, it sounds like you're not really interested in being friends with her, which is totally fair. And I'd feel the same way, to be honest. If it was me, I'd probably text and say, hey, I got your messages. I'm not in a place where I want to be talking to you right now and just want to focus on wedding planning and events. That you appreciate the apology and maybe you'll reach out after the wedding. That's probably what I would do. If her apology is genuine, she'll quit bugging you after that. But it sounds like she's got main character syndrome in spades, so she might put up a fuss. Then you can say you're not looking for drama right now, and if she doesn't leave you alone, you'll have to block her until after the wedding. OP says, you're right. I'm not in it anymore. I think at first I felt like it was just another lost friendship because I've had to draw these lines in the sand before with friends who were the kind who were always down on their luck, but always making decisions to get themselves there. When things would go sideways between us, I would always feel guilty, even if I was the only one with the grievance. I wasn't emotionally mature enough to understand that someone can be mad at you, but it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. I was never able to tell that before, but now it just takes me a while to come around. It's a little easier, so thank you for your feedback and everyone else here, even if I didn't respond personally. OP needing to make sure Elle can't get into the venue on the wedding day. OP says she lives hundreds of miles away. I think I'm okay.
Oh, wow.
Comment number 2. You said this so perfectly. I'm terrified of getting baited into a conversation where I feel yet again cornered and bullied because she turns it around on me somewhere. This does not sound like a person you trust anymore, nor would most people, I'm guessing. Not that I know most people. If you have to walk on eggshells, if you know she's not really attuned to you except to figure out where she can make the conversation about her, and if she bullies you, then there's not much friendship to be found any longer. I think you're on the right track to say that you're only comfortable with written exchanges now. Right now is vague, possibly stretching to forever. You already know that she is misrepresenting things, and you already know that she badgers you. Let her write it down, because then she has a chance to be more thoughtful, and you have a chance to hand the unread letter to your lovely mother-in-law and ask her to read it and just give you the gist. Just write back briefly to say thank you for whatever you want to thank her for, wedding-wise. Thank her for the apology if you want. You could just say, I appreciate it. And say, this obviously has come between us, and that's sad, but it's for the best that we part ways here, or whatever you want. Fairly soupy if you want. Even obliviously insincere if you want. You could even do a goofy one where you tell jokes if you want. Or you could do it in like pig Latin if you want. OP responds, this was definitely one of the top comments on this post. Thank you. I'm avoiding saying things like I appreciate because I'm sugarcoating nothing at this point, but I have been cordial, waiting on my apology to decide if my mind is made up fully. And that is the end of that story. And look, girl, if you're already not sugarcoating it, then do it in person and just rip that freaking Band-Aid off, okay? That's the end of that story.
Hundreds of miles away. I don't think it makes sense to go in person. I say just let it be.
Oh, that's right. Well, no, she's not even in the same state. Yeah. My mother spoiled the surprise of my engagement and won't apologize for it.
And they're about to be surprised with her funeral.
Okay. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I'm used to it after my parents ruined the surprise of my engagement and the wedding dress? I, 27 female, am getting married in September 2025. I'm in a long-distance relationship. My partner lives in England and I'm in the U.S. We're lucky enough that I work remote and visit about 3 times a year for 6 weeks at a time. And he visits me in the U.S. about 4 times a year, once a week. Which, if we're doing some quick math, that's 22 weeks out of the year. That's almost half the year they're spending together. By the way, this comes from user Glitter Glaze Glue. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when he was planning to propose, he had asked for my parents' blessing in March 2024. My parents had, quote, assumed that I would know when he was proposing, and my dad had told me in a conversation that the following week he was proposing in December 2024. What? As you can imagine, I was upset. My mother invalidated my feelings and said I was making it a big deal and being for not assuming it was going to be during Christmas, because that's when both of our families were together. My argument is that while I could have had a hunch, I didn't want to be told when it was, and basically could have gone practically a whole year wondering excitedly when it would be. For all I knew, he could have proposed before that, and Christmas we would have had an engagement party. Anyways, basically my dad apologized, but my mom has stood firm on saying I'm dramatic for being upset. Since then, more things have gone wrong and has started to leave me just so sad about wedding planning. None of this has been a good experience, and I've started to feel like it's a chore. Flash forward to today. My partner is visiting just for 1 week, and while we're all sitting on the couch in the living room, my mom randomly turns to me and goes, "Have you picked up your veil from the bridal store yet?" Right in front of him. Why, mother? Why can't you let her have a nice thing? My partner smiles and goes, "Oh, you're wearing a veil." And I just got super frustrated. There are only 2 surprises in a wedding, the engagement and the dress, and both of them have been handled so carelessly. So I turned to my mom and said, "Can you please not mention anything about the dress, not the shoes, not nothing. I don't want him knowing anything." She rolls her eyes, walks around, and about 10 minutes later gives a half-hearted apology just saying, "Sorry, OP." And I replied, "It's fine. I'm used to it at this point." And now she's gone back and locked herself in the room. So I guess I'm not the a-hole for being upset.
Nah, she's a human. She's an adult that should be able to regulate her emotions, averagely, or like a average adult. So not on you.
Big facts. I don't want to reach. I feel like your mom. Ooh, because
she wants us all about her.
It's such an illogical route to travel after like just making a mistake, and then you go, "Oh my God, that's terrible. I made a mistake." One thing about they literally it would make them physically ill to admit something like that, so they just can't do it. And that's what this feels like. And then you're like, "Oh, I'm used to it." Another perceived imperfection, and now gonna go take that real personally until you say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's not real."
Yikes.
Anyway.
Boo.
There's an edit here. I know a lot of people are asking if this is like her. It isn't. She has already had one of her 4 daughters get married. I'm the second. She never ruined the engagement or the dress, and she seemed to care a whole lot more about her than she has me during this time. Nowadays, a lot of brides opt to wear veils and tiaras and hats, embellishments, or nothing at all. I forgot to mention that my fiance had told me he didn't want to know if I was wearing a veil or anything and wanted it to be a surprise. Since he's very mild-tempered and sweet, he was surprised but was trying to be nice in his reaction because he knew I'd be upset. There are some comments. Substantial Air says, "Not the a-hole, put your parents on an information diet. Also, know in the future they're always going to do this. Maybe be prepared for some oddball wedding toast for them." Structure Key 2739, "I'm used to it at this point," is a brilliant, well-deserved answer. Now she's sulking in her room, leave her there. LMDR 1973, yep. Let her stay in there as long as she wants to. Don't give her the attention she's looking for. Your mother sounds toxic. Stop telling her things. And we have an update.
Uh-oh.
I think the wedding happened.
Oh.
Right?
She's probably going to find something else to do and reveal it to the groom.
My money's on more mom-centered shenanigans.
My money's on, I don't know, probably that too.
Mom-centric shenaniganry?
Yep.
All right.
Yay. Or the mother-in-law gets in on it, and it's just like a double whammy. We usually just have one mother that's crazy, not two.
What if the mother-in-law and the mother have an exhibitionist boxing match?
Ooh.
And they put it on pay-per-view. All right, let's get the update. So, for context, a lot of things have gone wrong since we've been in talks of getting engaged. Obviously, my dad had told me about the engagement, but then other things went wrong, like my partner's sister causing drama the day before our engagement, the day of our engagement going horribly wrong to the point my partner told me he'd propose again, finding out last month that my partner's dad got remarried a year ago secretly, we didn't even know he was dating anyone, and him asking for a +1 for the wife no one had even heard of, while also telling my partner he's ridiculous for being upset because it isn't a big deal, and my best friend bailing on my bachelorette for someone else's. It's safe to say that since December, it's been stressful, and those are only the bigger issues that I mentioned.
Oh.
I know everyone was saying mom should be on an info diet, but she already was on one by her own choice. She hasn't asked or been part of anything by her own design, and it's felt like she couldn't care less about the wedding. The only time she cared was when she found out we were only inviting 40 people, and people she wanted there weren't invited, like her friends, who I barely see or know, and her brother and cousin, who I both haven't seen since I was 11. That's when she insisted on paying for them so they could come, and that's the only time she's asked about anything having to do with the wedding, or to be honest, anything involving me. She hasn't checked in to see if me and my partner are okay, given all the other stuff that has happened either. So I ended up speaking with my mom a little while after what happened, and I told her that while I know I shouldn't have said I'm used to it, that ultimately I'm upset because it seems nothing has gone right. She seemed apologetic at first and said she didn't know why she said that, and knew that she shouldn't have. I nodded and said, just please don't say anything else regarding what you know about the dress. She was there when I got the dress and veil with my sisters. I then told her that I'm just tired of things going wrong and that my partner and I have felt super unsupported and alone. She responded back, starting her sentence with, OP, only a handful of things have happened. I feel like you're looking for things to be upset about at this point.
She listed 5 things that are weekly things we talk about that are mainly people's issues. And she just briefly mentioned them while she needs to write them out and share it with us.
You were right there at the goal line, Mom.
Yeah.
You were at the goal line.
She was about
all you had
to
to
feel,
go was, all right, I'll do my best. I love you.
Yeah, she was about to feel supported.
So she's like, actually, I think you're being a pain.
Yeah.
I think you're looking for trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
And we all know what happens when you look for trouble. Okay.
You get it.
You find it. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Okay. To be honest, when she said that, I kind of lost it. I basically said that I didn't go looking for any of this, and all of these things that have happened to my fiance and I were out of our control. Like, you're the one who brought up the veil, not me. I didn't go looking for any of these issues. I told her that if there was one problem, then fine. I'd have handled it and moved on. But that the repeated offenses coming from every angle have hurt me and my partner. I've been trying to get over what's occurred, but something else happens to make the wedding planning even harder for us. I told her that my fiance and I both have felt super alone during a time that's supposed to be joyful, and that her carelessness and thoughtlessness has been super hurtful, especially when she's continually invalidated my feelings. She shrugged and said she's done nothing, and she's not going to talk to me or ask about me about the other problems going on, because I've been upset and she doesn't want to deal with it. It is a crazy thing to just say to somebody, be like, no, I just don't care that you're upset. I don't want to hear about your problems. You're upset. I'm not going to talk to you. You just bother me.
I'm thinking of one person that if I said that to, I would get my head cut off.
Bro, if you said that to like anybody, that's, I feel like, grounds to like, well, first of all,
Get knocked
thanks for
out.
letting me know you don't care about me at all. I guess I won't be calling you. Like, I don't know. It's just
This
a
is weird.
crazy thing for a parent to say to their own child about their wedding.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, don't talk to me. It's you're just
I
such a
need-
downer all the time.
I need to see them react to each other in public so I can get a better understanding of this dynamic.
Yeah. After a lot of your comments, I realized that I definitely was attempting to include someone who has not only shown they should not be, but that they don't want to be involved in my wedding. My partner leaves back to the UK today, but at this point, I'm considering eloping with him if I can when I'm visiting him in England in May.
Rav and the Baines.
We've already paid half of what we owe to our venue and photographer, so canceling isn't really an option. But maybe we'll just have the reception instead of the ceremony. Thank you to the commenters who pointed out that if we ever have children, to keep the important moments to ourselves. So the gender or birth date or names, all that stuff, I think you're right. And that my mom has pretty much ensured she will be on a permanent info diet for as long as she's in my life. Because if not, she'll more than likely spoil it and then invalidate my feelings. I think ultimately it wasn't about the veil for me. I know my partner will still be surprised. I'm just sad because he told me he didn't want an idea of anything and wanted to be completely clueless about what I'd be wearing. But ultimately, this was about the continued thoughtlessness and invalidation that's pretty much been the theme of the last 4 months. If my mom had said she was sorry and left it, it would have been fine. But acting like I went looking to be upset when she randomly ruins yet another detail is just wild to me. Quick edit, I also forgot to say yes, I am moving to England. We are hoping to make that jump at the beginning of 2026.
Oh, wow. People are talking about 2026 now.
I know a lot of people are saying completely cancel the venue, but we already have friends and family from my fiance's side who have bought their tickets to come. At least 10 have already confirmed their flights. I don't think I have the heart in me to cost people that kind of money when they're already invested into this. And by the way, you can get invested into full episodes of stories just like this on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts. And what do they need to look up? Okay, story time. Thanks, Riley. Just look up OK Storytime on your platform of choice, and that'll lead you to the treasure trove of over 2,000 episodes for you to listen to. Wow. We have a little bit of story left. Fisherman, you got anything to...
Dude.
You got anything to add?
I kind of forgot what story on. Now we're back.
About the wedding, the mom's complete lack of support for the wedding and being like, all your wedding's problems are your fault.
Dude, just move to London or wherever and just... do your own thing.
You know, you kind of got to own that no matter what, you know? Even if your family's super sick. If you feel like you got to do a thing and it's your thing and you got to do your own thing, you got to do your own thing, man.
Facts.
Third edit. I'm not sure if my mom cares that I'm moving. I'm in England for 6 to 8 weeks at a time every few months, so she's already used to me leaving for a significant amount of time. She doesn't seem sad I'm leaving, and if anything, has said she understands why I'm moving. If she is sad, or that's the real reason behind all this, I'd actually be super surprised. I won't rule it out, but my mom isn't the type to care about that sort of thing.
And I think that's the end of the story.
My parents are trying their best to sabotage my wedding because I'm queer.
What are your parents, the Beastie Boys?
Trigger warning. Phobia. When I was a little girl, my Oma and my girl cousins and I sat around and talked about our future weddings and what we would want our dresses to look like, and bouquets and future husbands, number of kids. I was not super engaged in the conversation, but I was included. By the way, this comes from Diamine Celadon Cat. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, but my Oma knew how to draw me in because we bonded over our mutual love of stuffed animals, something that has followed me into adulthood. She had hand-me-downs for all the other little girls in the family to give them for their wedding days, such as jewelry, hand mirrors, other trinkets, shoes, or handbags. They stopped in her vast closet all day, and I sat in her room and played with the stuffed animals. And she asked me if I wanted a tiny palm-sized stuffed white mouse to put in my bouquet when I got married. It would be about the size of a peony bloom, lightweight, and the right size not to crush the flowers. I was immediately obsessed. She gave the mouse to my mom for safekeeping. My mom held on to the mouse, and I would pull it out and hold it reverently and inspect it and make sure that it was clean and knew that it was being saved for a special day. Then in high school, I came out as... and suddenly I wasn't my parents' barely tolerated eldest daughter. Because, let's face it, we had problems then too. But they're openly disliked son. And as soon as they could wash their hands of me, they did. And I wasn't allowed to take Oma's mouse with me when I left. I didn't think about it because when I moved out, I didn't have blushing bride-to-be in the forefront of my mind. My parents are not even willing to mail me my birth certificate to help me leave the country safely right now. I'm sure the stuffed mouse is out of the question. I'm still not a blushing bride, and I'm not going to marry one. My future husband and I want to have a in memorial bouquet with the mouse in it on a table at our wedding. Next to our take a kippa just for today, we promise they don't bite basket. I wanted to just replace the mouse because I know where she bought it originally, but it's discontinued. They're available online, but I'm having a hard time finding one that isn't used and worn looking. I just have grief. I won't even have a date yet. We haven't even started planning or anything official. This was my literal first wedding planning thought. Anyways, thanks for listening. Cheers. It all has to get better from here. None of my side of the family is even invited, LMAO. And there are some comments.
Dude,
do you have any comments before we roll
normalize
on?
not inviting people who are bigoted towards you to your wedding, even if they are your family.
Yeah.
For the love of God, please, can we stop inviting people we know we don't like and they don't like us? Why are we inviting them? I don't care if you gave birth to me. You hate me now.
These are all very valid questions. Even if you gave the mouse back, that doesn't deserve the return of entry. Doesn't deserve it at all. But some comments, such as Mrs. Sir Walter Scott says, I'm so sorry you're going through all of this when you're supposed to be having one of the best seasons in your life. I hope you can take comfort in the fact that your Oma loved you so much. If you want to post a picture of one of the mouse stuffies or the name of it or anything, I can try to help you find one. I'm glad that you're creating a new family. OP responds, it's ridiculous. It's like the IKEA Der Gossing mouse in white, upright. It is so silly because it's not an impossible task. I haven't searched high and low or anything, but I have balked at spending $24 to $50 on a 99-cent plush, and it's not about the cost, and I don't know why I'm stuck on it. I think it's because I want my mouse, not someone else's secondhand used mouse that they still think is worth $50 just because it's discontinued now. Okay, Isopod9769 says, this is super random and it might not scratch the itch for you, but I'm a sapphic who knits and sews. I can make you a mouse like that. Maybe that'll feel better to you than buying it from a stranger. Community stepping in for family and all that. My DMs are closed because I don't like randoms DMing me, but if you feel like that would be a solution that would fix this for you, just respond to this comment. I'll open my DMs and you can give me some more info about the mouse and we can figure out the details from there. Maybe embroider you or your spouse's initials onto it somewhere, add a little rainbow, a tiny bow tie, whatever. I also see your use of Oma, and if it's any solace, I'm German. So in any way, you'd be getting it from someone from the same cultural background who can kind of understand what your Oma would have been like. This is an incredibly sweet offer, and I saw it right after someone in Europe found one for a very palatable price. If that comes through, I'm going to be so excited. I haven't heard back from them. I think I kind of want to see what you come up with regardless, though. It's such a lovely offer, and we haven't set a date yet, so there's no urgency. And when my community rallies together, my mouse can have a friend, and they can be attracted to the same gender. Mice.
They're mice.
They're mice.
Gauss.
Just symbolic.
A mouse? A Gauss? With a spouse? A Gauss spouse is also a Gauss. Gauss mouse.
If it's all the same to you, that is. Restless Dragon says, not sure if you're interested, but if you want a mom who loves you just the way you are at the wedding, let me know. That's cute. Opie says, thank you so much. What a very kind offer. My fiance and I laugh. I have no loving family, but as the child of an amicable divorce, my partner has 4 loving parents who co-parented really cohesively and continue to do so. That means he entered the relationship with enough family for the both of us, because between the parents and the 7 siblings, it averages out to a normal amount of in-laws for a couple to have. They're just all of his side. However, they feel like my family already, and with the way that they've embraced me. I feel very fortunate in that way. Lipa says, I actually have one of these. DM me. I'm in Finland, but it is so light he could fly. Obi says, I have had my mice accomplished. I have 2 headed towards me. If you would still very much like to send me one, I am accepting them as a symbol of how community has embraced us when my family did not. And I am thinking about writing a small sign of explanation of how we lost the original mouse to time. I just don't even want to think about my nasty family. And wonderful people around the world saved our day to source replacements for us. I am of the opinion that the more the merrier, but I have the mice I need to have my perfect day and to memorialize my Oma. If your mouse will be missed, please keep it in your home. And we do have an edit.
Keep your mice indoors.
We have an edit. Lots
Swedish mouse mafia.
So many supportive mice here.
I just have to point out that Josephine earlier in the chat commented in all caps, it's a rat wedding. Oh my God, it's a rat wedding.
Of mice and men. That's crazy.
Of mice.
Of mice.
And
we do have another edit that is the day after the original post. Edits number 3. 3 wonderful people have found solutions to my mouse problem. When initially I came here primarily to grieve in a community who would not focus on the part, but rather the mouse part. I even have been offered a solution that includes something so meaningful and moving that I am not mentioning it in this edit
because I want it to be a surprise and I don't want my fiance to accidentally spoil it for himself if he finds this post. I am in absolute tears and I'm not the easy crier in this relationship. Thank you folks so much. Words cannot express. We've got another edit. I have now received offers of 5 mice.
Yes.
Which has reminded me of the strength of the community in times that I have felt quite bleak recently. Because of that, I would like to extend invitations to any gossing mouse who would like to attend my wedding as a visual reminder that family are the people who show up for you, no matter what that ends up looking like. We will be including a small sign explaining that our original mouse was lost to time to avoid addressing my lousy family, and that people from our community from around the world wanted to help make sure my Oma was honored and our day was perfect regardless. I am of course happy to pay travel expenses and shipping for any mouse who wants to attend our wedding. Please do not feel obligated, as I have substantially more mice than anticipated and more than I needed. My heart is full.
Oh my God.
I am only telling my fiance about 1 mouse, and the rest will be a surprise to him on our wedding day.
Aww.
Some of OP's comments. Zealous Ideal Let 439 said, hi, we're in the fountain pen community together, so I just want to say mazel tov on your engagement from another queer Jew who has inky fingers. OP says, thank you so much. This post that I typed up in a moment of just cranky grief on the very first day of wedding planning has brought me such unexpected joy in community in unexpected places. Nani65 says, your Oma's love is always with you, even though you won't have the mouse. OP says, but the beautiful thing is, we will have mice. Not the original one, but very loving, gifted replacements from this community. I cannot put into words how surprised and grateful I am to the wonderful and thoughtful people here who are stepping in to be the helpers that my family just aren't. Author 124 says, it's no less than you deserve. I wish you and your future husband a beautiful wedding day and a wonderful life together. OP says, well, good news. We already have checked one of those boxes. I moved to his state to flee DV and get back on my feet a few years ago and met him some months after. He has patiently and gently transformed how I think about myself and helped me build safety and independence, even outside of him. Now we have a beautiful home. My dogs adore him and he adores them. No small feat. They're high drive, high energy working dogs and can be intense to people used to companion dogs. And I have never felt so comfortable and understood in a friendship, let alone a romantic relationship. We have learned how to integrate and navigate my trauma from growing up with a total loser parents with the help of therapy and patient practice. This is definitely the most beautiful season of my life, and not because it's been easy or free from pain or difficult periods. I'm sure that we will check off the other item too. Okay, and then on March 23, 2025, OP says, I have rather lost count of how many mice are arriving at this very moment. I have been weeping all year because of how much I miss my Oma and how much I wish I could talk to her, and this feels like a hug from her with the help from strangers, even before the wedding. We do have an update to a sentimental detail my parents tried to rob from me.
This is a heartwarmer.
This really is.
Heartwarmer, dewormer. This is a part of the update that's just
review.
Saying all the same stuff. Gotcha.
Yeah. But anywho, I came to share how heartbreaking the estrangement from my family is during the time in my life that should be shared with my loved ones. I came to whine that my admittedly lazy search online to replace my stuffed mouse turned up expensive or subpar substitutes. I expected others to share similar stories of lackluster family and maybe give creative ideas on how to honor my Oma's memory another way. Instead, the wonderful people in this community overwhelmed me with an outpouring of kindness and support. I had people source me exact substitutions for my Oma's mouse and offers to me from around the world over 3 continents. I have even had 2 people offer to hand make some replica mice. I have stuffed mice flooding my mailbox, and I am so overwhelmed with gratitude and have no words for the impact that this has to me right now. I intend to create a display with all the mice and a little map of from where each one came from.
Aww.
That is so cute.
Yeah. Little traveling mice.
Yeah.
You should make a diorama for each mouse.
Oh no.
For each location.
This is how the Black Plague started.
The mice dioramas.
Mice.
No,
from all
mice
the
traveling the
other
world.
countries.
Of course you'll say the Black Plague started with a man. You're crazy.
After our wedding, I plan on putting them in a shadow box and framing them somewhere in our home. There are still more mice on the way to me. One is hanging out with my best man, and another is with a friend of mine closer to where we are about to move. I am just floored. Thank you all truly for all your kind words and your mice. And reminder that family are the people who show up for you, not the people who give you genetic material. And on the thing, there's an image of a cute group of stuffed mice. OP says, this is all reminding me that my family's approval is actually not a goal of mine, and that joy is everywhere if I look for it. Commenter says, this is adorable. I'm sorry about what your parents have put you through. Are you still accepting IKEA mice? Another commenter says, full body goosebumps. While I am deeply sorry for the pain you feel from the heartache your family has caused, I'm delighted that the entire world joined forces to cheer you on. Congratulations. OP says, I have my Oma who was very progressive and always proud of me for me. And even when I left my family, she made sure I knew that. So another commenter says, my first thought was rats, but I spend too much time on the internet. I'm so glad that people came through for you. OP responds, they can be rats for you. IKEA calls them rats very technically. If you want to mince hairs, I thought of them as mice, but they're apparently listed as rats. My partner and I are close enough for me.
Wait, so it's official. We've got men and rats for the wedding.
But we do have another update. OMG, hi to the best of Reddit update people. I never expected one of my posts to blow up like that. Posting this one here because it feels like bloat to the LGBT weddings feed. I'll post the next pics update here, probably in October. We finally have a date set for our wedding, which if you saw my previous posts, we didn't. You're still accepting mice, and I've opened it to all colors of gossing mice and any variety of homemade mice. So now I can finally tell y'all, mice who cannot find airfare before October 1st likely won't be able to attend our wedding. This wedding has been so emotionally fraught for me. The enormous joy and redemption I, and by extension my partner, have experienced has brought so much insulation from the anguish in the outside world. Because I get to sit in my very silly stuffed mouse and wedding planning bubble when I think about it. I went from worrying that my side of the wedding would look humiliatingly sparse to wondering if we would have enough mice to put mice in the seats that felt too empty. These mice have felt like a very tangible expression of something that I've had to have my whole life. Creative problem solving in the face of a really lousy family who refused to celebrate me or anything about me, even on the most joyous moments of my life. And the people who have shown up time and time again to help me when I've needed it. My family of origin sure haven't done it, but there have always been people available somewhere. This time, it feels like there's people literally in every corner of the globe looking to help us. It's a little unbelievable. I had to spill the beans about the mice to my partner. Originally, they were keeping it a secret. We're both going through a lot because of stuff related to the wedding and surrounding the wedding. A lot of it having to do with family drama and current politics. Wouldn't you know, planning an interfaith wedding when your entire family voted for not that and has yet to voice any disapproval of any of it is emotionally draining. He was just running out of steam anytime we talked about it. Yes, on still getting married. Yes, this year. But so discouraged that he couldn't just have his big happy family around without drama. So one evening, I just brought the box full of mice in from the garage and held it in my lap and explained it to him. He already knew about Oma's mouse and that I replaced one. I explained that I went online to be whiny and that y'all didn't take it as whiny but embraced me instead. And then I started just throwing mice into his lap one at a time and explaining that I got mouse after mouse after mouse because you folks would just not let it go, that I just needed one. Because y'all wanted our joy to overflow, not just see minimum needs met. I explained that when gifting mice to him, it was my way of reminding him that if Oma was around, she would have loved him, and he's part of my family now too, and I'm welcoming him in, even if there's no one else around to do it. We have a bunch of mouse stand-ins who will be much more civil than my actual family members. Now we get to design the mouse display together. He has such an eye for aesthetic. I think it's a good move. And you know what I think is always a good move is checking us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is, and searching OK Storytime because you're going to find more full episodes of stories just like this one.
Oh, yeah.
Get on over there. And there is a little bit more to this story. Shall I just wrap it right up?
Yeah, I mean, I love this. I want a gay rat wedding every day on this story.
Yeah.
On this show.
Great.
I want a story like this every day, please.
Yeah.
Can we have more gay rat weddings?
Katara Rain says the rat dress. Yeah. Can you imagine if you got little rat suits and dresses?
Do you know what these are?
What?
On my blanket.
Oh, pigeons?
Yeah, which are also known as rats with wings.
Oh.
Whoa.
Dude, send some of
It's
those
a full circle moment.
Yeah, it is.
Which one of these pigeons is That's not how that worked, folks. You can't tell by sight. Creative solutions to modern problems.
I love it. There's a little bit more. Let's go ahead and wrap this all up. So we now have a wedding date. This is probably the last big update until October. We are still accepting mice. I'm happy to assist with mouse airfare if they do not travel with excess luggage. I do request that mice that travel to us come with a little note that we can display as well. I originally thought about cutting out the postage and making a collage of that, but I didn't want to tediously censor addresses if I posted pictures. I am a college artist by hobby, so it would be nice to include something like that I could have to frame behind them when I display them later on to remember you all by.
Slightly Tove says Mice Window needs to show his face. Mice Window?
One of the comments says, Jesus, I can't imagine telling someone that they don't deserve a $1 stuffed mouse that they didn't even pay for one of the most important days of their life. OP says, this comes from the same parents who told me I didn't deserve a medically necessary shoulder surgery because it was too expensive, but refused to take on any kind of financial assistance because it was beneath them to take handouts. This was before I even came out as they simply were uniquely unsuited to be parents. And that is the end of that lovely mouse story.
Lovely.
Lovely mouse story.
Yeah.
My future sister-in-law claimed my family never RSVP'd, but I'm the only one seatless.
Steal one of their seats.
My brother-in-law is getting married soon. My husband is the best man, and our 4-year-old is the ring bearer. I'm a part-time party planner, so I've been helping plan a small luncheon for the bridal party, immediate family, and a few vendors on the wedding day. So I'm not exactly a fringe guest here. I'm main guest. By the way, this comes from Throwaway No Place 5878. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So the RSVP deadline was a few weeks ago. I filled out the online form and submitted it the same day the invitation came in the mail, with my husband sitting right there next to me. We RSVP'd for the 3 of us, me, my husband, and our son. Easy peasy, right? My brother-in-law's fiance, sister-in-law, reached out today over text saying, not, hey, I never saw your SVP, just checking, but straight up, you didn't respond, which is frustrating on its own. But then she tells us that while my husband and son have seats at the reception, as they were in part of the original head counts, I do not. My husband was told I could come early with him to set up the luncheon still and stay for the ceremony, but that I would not have a spot at the reception. Let me repeat. I'm married to the best man, mother of the ring bearer, and I'm helping with wedding day logistics, including connecting sister-in-law with some of my professional contacts, and somehow decided I wouldn't be coming. Excuse me? And she never followed up before the RSVP line. Just what? I'm torn between feeling hurt, furious, and just flabbergasted, and feeling used. At best, this was a sloppy mistake and she's not owning. At worst, it feels like a pointed exclusion. Stopping right there. Pointed exclusion or sloppy excuse.
Ooh, I think that could be a pointed exclusion. How do you miss that?
How do you miss that? I feel like it's a pointed exclusion. I feel like that doesn't feel. I mean, I don't know how you miss that.
And how you don't check in. Like, hey, your husband and your son are gonna be here. Just wanted to see why you're not coming. Everything good?
Yeah.
You think it would be automatic too, since husband's in the wedding.
Yeah.
And the son's in the wedding, or child's in the wedding, ring bearer, and it's like automatic. What?
Yeah. At worst, I feel it's like a pointed exclusion. I'm not sure which stings more. My husband is going to handle the conversation with his brother to figure out what is going on, because I generally don't trust myself to be polite and keep the peace. There was no other drama leading up to this that I was aware of. I have a good relationship with my in-laws, so yeah, this is totally out of left field for me and my husband. I would love to hear thoughts, especially from people who have gone through something similar. I don't typically touch weddings with work, so this is all new territory for me as a pseudo-vendor guest. My husband wants to reach out and talk to his brother first, but I'm so tempted to reach out to my mother-in-law before our usual meetup tomorrow to see if she knows anything. And we got an edit from one of the comments. Small update. Husband and brother-in-law are talking now. Brother-in-law was not working today last night and was helping father-in-law with something this evening. When I called mother-in-law, she had brother-in-law call husband right away. From what mother-in-law and I can hear, we're Snoopy. My husband was muted on brother-in-law's phone, and my contact was deleted. Brother-in-law can't log into the wedding website, so he can't check to see if our RSVP is there. I'm not sure if I want to become a firecracker myself. They get some popcorn as I watch mother-in-law pop off. We got Another edit from the comments. Okay, last update for the night. I am tired and a bit overwhelmed by all of your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to them. Again, thank you for your advice, general support. This is really weird and upsetting. So my husband finally got a hold of brother-in-law after I called mother-in-law. No one else knew this was going on. While they were talking, brother-in-law tried logging into their wedding website to see if it was a mistake or misunderstanding, but he couldn't log in. So he texted her sister-in-law to see if she changed the password, and she just told him to come home instead. That's weird. This set off 3 alarms. 1, brother-in-law ended the call with husband to call sister-in-law about why she couldn't answer a simple question. 2, mother-in-law popped off about how dare that woman exclude OP, and 3, mother-in-law and father-in-law popped off on brother-in-law for already living with sister-in-law. They are very religious and traditional and don't believe that a couple should live together before marriage. Husband and I sympathize with brother-in-law. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law argued over the phone. Apparently, she started claiming that it was an unfortunate glitch. It was too late to add another seat now. Then it was that we never jived, and it would be really bad if I went home early. Plus, I could take our son home with me because he would be tired by then at 5 p.m. This woman does not know kids. Then it was, I've always been mean and excluding her from things. So it is on purpose, even though she's never invited me to any of the fun, girly wedding events. At this point, my husband and I are glued to my phone, and we're hearing yelling from all 4 of them until sister-in-law hangs up. Brother-in-law is spending the night at his parents' and is unsure about the wedding now. We're now entering call off the wedding territory. He plans on going home tomorrow with husband going with for moral support. I'll be going with hubby to my in-laws to hang out until we hear back about the situation at the battlefront. Just to clarify something from the original post, I did not plan everything for the wedding. I offered to bring food for a small luncheon between photos, 10 a.m. and the ceremony, 4 p.m., as dinner wasn't planned until 6 p.m. It was going to be a long day at the farm in the middle of nowhere. I offered to do it to be nice, but also to make sure no one, specifically a certain 4-year-old, would be hangry for the ceremony. Sister-in-law also only used one of my vendor contacts, so with things going south, my professional reputation shouldn't really be impacted. And we have a small update, but yeah, it seems like it was intentional.
Yeah, 100%
Which
targeted.
red flag, which I understand why brother-in-law is like, I don't know, I want to get married to this girl.
Yeah.
We got an update. Turns out the no seat for OP issue was the problem that broke brother-in-law's relationship. And we're a bit upset brother-in-law didn't talk to anyone about this until it blew up. Behind the scenes, brother-in-law and sister-in-law were having arguments about their future together. Most of these arguments centered around having kids. Early on, sister-in-law gave the impression that she wanted children someday, but as they got more serious, she started backtracking. A few months ago, brother-in-law realized that it's very likely sister-in-law never wanted kids, but felt too invested in the relationship to leave. But brother-in-law always imagined having a large family, so this really shook him. On top of that, sister-in-law apparently had jealousy and insecurity issues. Per brother-in-law, I've been her latest target. So sister-in-law was jealous
Wow.
of OP.
Backtracking about a lot.
Which started when I turned down going to a mani-pedi with her. Why did I turn it down? Well, husband and son had rotavirus. Apparently, I was icing her out by not wanting to spread a gastrointestinal doom. Can anyone please explain that logic to us? Lastly, sister-in-law was apparently already floating the idea of disinviting our son from the reception because he would have been the only small child there. Brother-in-law shut that down immediately, and mother-in-law/father-in-law kept that knowledge from us to spare our feelings. Ergo, our lost RSVP was not a software glitch, nor was it an oversight, but rather a stupidly calculated move. Sister-in-law was apparently hoping one of 2 things would happen. Either I would make a scene about being disinvited and would be seen as the problem, or we would quietly accept our fate and she would not have to deal with 2 undesirables at a reception. With all this in mind, I can't figure out why she would have messaged my husband instead of me. Was she trying to cause more family drama? Again, the logic is not logicking. By the way, if you want logic that logics, you should listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's a little bit more to the story, and we're going to go straight on into it. Brother-in-law was already feeling some uncertainty because of the shifting kids/no kids conversation, but the deliberate seating stunt gave him the last push and clarity he needed. Brother-in-law told my husband it was a level of manipulation and cruelty that he could not overlook. So he ended things, asked for the ring back. Do you think brother-in-law was right to do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She had been lying about so much between that,
and the kids.
Kids.
That's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
Even if she wasn't lying and she just like kind of came to the realization, that would be a reason to end the relationship too.
Yeah.
No wedding, no reception, just a super messy, emotionally heavy, and expensive breakup. And I feel so bad for brother-in-law. He's going through so much heartache right now, but he deserves a better partner. Hopefully, sister-in-law can find a family dynamic that doesn't feel like a never-ending battlefield. That's all for now. I'm still tired. I'm still flabbergasted, but I'm also relieved this wedding arc is coming to an end. We got some comments. Comment 1, still better than finding out after the wedding. True.
Yeah.
OP responds, so true. I wish she told us how sister-in-law took the news. I'm surprised she didn't lash out at OP for ruining her life. Another drama. And comment 2, she's probably jealous that mother-in-law and OP get along and like each other. We're Snoopy me up. And comment 3, children are one thing you can't compromise over. He would have built up so much resentment wanting kids while all his family and friends are having them. Best outcome for everyone in the long run. And comment 4, brother-in-law is hurting now, but when he gets with the right person who honors his values and is easy to live with, he will be extremely happy to have gone through this. And that is where this story and this stream ends.
Whoa.
Whoa.
My fiance refused to change her last name after marriage, and now I want to break up.
Wow, didn't know you were anti-feminist. What?
A few weeks ago, my fiance, 27 female, and I, 28 male, were talking about our wedding, which is scheduled for June of next year, and our honeymoon. At one point, I jokingly said something to the effect of, we'll see about that, future Mrs. My Last Name. And she visibly cringed. She told me she isn't going to be Mrs. My Last Name. By the way, this comes from user Chemical Seesaw 99. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Shoo. I said, okay then. I'll be Mr. Her Last Name. Because I don't really care if she takes my name or I take hers. I just want to share one. She said, nope, I'm keeping my name and you can keep yours. I asked who our future kids would be named after. She said her because she's the mother. So I'd be the odd one out. Edit to add, I should have clarified this, but she's also opposed to hyphenating. She's adamant we should each keep our own last names and any future kids will only have hers. For context, I grew up in a foster care after both of my parents passed away. I didn't have any other biological family, so I was bounced around from home to home from the ages of 5 to 18 when I aged out. I never felt welcome in any of those foster homes and never felt like I had a real family. I always swore I'd have a real family one day, though. So naturally, I want to share a last name with my wife and our kids. I truly don't care what name, mine, hers, a new one that we both choose. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I just want a real family that I feel connected to. Have you said that exactly that way? That sounds like the exact thing to say.
Right.
To your wife.
Just let her know, man. Communication.
She needs to. And if she does know that and she's still saying this, yikes.
Yeah.
We've been dating for 3 years and engaged for almost 5 months. And this is the first time that she said she doesn't want to share a name. Previously, she never said anything when I called her the future Mrs. My Last Name. So either this is new or she had been holding it in. I've tried to talk to her about why she doesn't want either of us to change our last name, but she doesn't want to discuss it further. And I'm at a loss of what to do. Would it be an overreaction to break up over this since she won't talk to me about her reasons? She's acting like everything is normal, so I don't know what to think. Thank you to all who replied or sent messages, except those calling me a misogynist for even suggesting she change her name. I've decided to try to have one more serious conversation with her about my feelings on this subject. I've packed a box with all the things she's left in my house, so if it doesn't go well, I'll return her belongings and end things. We're meeting at a park and I have a good friend who's going to stay nearby, but unseen just in case things go south. If for no other reason, then I have a witness that I tried everything I could to talk things out. There are some comments, but I mean, if that really is, look, I mean, clearly this is a very big deal to you. This is like something that you absolutely want out of a marriage and out of a family, is that y'all share a name. And if like for some reason your dear partner is diametrically opposed to that idea, well, then I think it won't work. Ally mom of 4. Why is she so opposed to it? Has she said why? It's something very important to you. Is it important enough that it could be the end of a relationship that would otherwise be headed towards marriage? I don't think you are overreacting at all. Your feelings are completely valid. She may not want to talk about it anymore, but she's going to have to if she wants the relationship to work. In the end, only you know what your deal breakers are. OP says she won't tell me. When I ask, she says she won't discuss it further and stops speaking unless I change the subject. Grey Dog 1316 says, what did that interaction look like the last time it happened? OP says she said she didn't want to discuss it and walked away. I really feel like if you pull like the move where it's like, if we can't discuss this, then this relationship is fundamentally over. I feel like she'll
I don't know. That
realize.
feels extreme to me.
No, but it's like that's his position. It's like, I'm not going to continue to move forward and go to marriage if you're like, we can't have the same name.
She's not willing to communicate. I think that is something more serious to take into account in a relationship. Obviously, like the name thing is important to him, so I don't want to make it seem like that's not serious. But to break up only over that feels extreme right now.
I guess.
But again, like I think you can bring up like, hey, like if we're going to go into a marriage, we need to be able to communicate.
Yeah,
especially if we're gonna have kids. Like that's an even bigger like underlying issue to this.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's more that just like, it's like, what happens if there's something else we need to talk about and you pull this?
Yeah.
Like,
there you go.
Miroku 000 replies, this is more concerning than the original problem. She can choose not to take your name, but she can't unilaterally choose to tell you that you can't take her name, and she can't unilaterally decide about the kids either. The next time she walks away, ask her to set a time when she will be ready to talk about it. If she's unwilling to do so, then start playing the same game about any wedding planning. Tell her you don't want to set a date until you resolve the issue with you being excluded from the family. Balcony Herb says, tell her you'd like to change your name and why. She may not realize the reason for it and may be projecting her desire to maintain her name on you. If she can't hear you and understand how hurt you are, I'd be second guessing as well. Since you aren't imposing a change on her, it's worth a discussion. OP says she knows why. She knows all about my past. Interesting, asks, does she know why because she knows your past, or does she know why because you've explicitly spelled it out to her? Some people don't connect dots very well. OP says I've told her very clearly why I want this. And up until recently, she seemed to understand. And there is an update. Yeah.
So she understands why he wants this, but is still like doesn't want to talk about it.
And I think that at the end of the day would be the deal breaker more than like, well, it's like the names. It's more like this, the way that we're behaving with each other right now, unsustainable. It's both of them. She's not speaking, so she's not being clear. She's not being open. He can't be open because she won't have the conversation.
Yeah.
So it's just like, again, what happens when this is something else?
Right.
We met up at a park today. I asked her late last night if she could meet me to talk about something, and she immediately agreed because it seemed she thought it was about the wedding. My friend was with me, but waited in my car so he wouldn't be spotted. But I did decide to turn on the voice recorder on my phone because in the past she's manipulated her telling of certain situations to make it seem like she's blameless. Red flag.
Mm-hmm.
I overlooked it before because I thought she was just used to getting her way, but now I realize that was a mistake on my part. So I got there early and walked around for a few minutes before meeting up with her in a picnic area. I asked her to sit down with me because I needed to ask her some very important questions about our future. I told her I needed answers and I needed her to give me enough respect as a human to not walk away when I'm trying to talk. I started by explaining again how I've never felt like I was part of a real family since I lost my parents, and how important it is to me that I feel that connection to my wife and kids. It may seem like a small thing to most, but to me, it's huge. I've lived most of my life feeling like I'm completely alone. She told me she knows how hard my life has been, and now I have her, so I'm not alone anymore. Then I asked her if she could please explain to me exactly why she is so vehemently against us having the same last name. If she acknowledges that, she knows how important it is to me that I share a name with my wife and kids, so I feel like I'm in a real family and not an outsider. I reminded her that I don't expect her to take my name, and I'm more than willing to take hers to hyphenate or come up with something different entirely. I just want to share a name with my wife and kids so we are one family unit. Her response to that was surprising. She rolled her eyes and told me it's, quote, so cringy when people have the same last name after they get married. That was her sole reason for us not sharing a name.
I
don't believe her.
I am so.
At this point, I honestly don't believe her. I'm like, what's going on? Are you secretly married to someone else? Does someone not know? Are you in a relationship with another person I don't know about? What is going on here to where if your name changed, something in your life gets exposed? What's happening?
It's possible that she's just so against any sort of tradition, which, you know, sure, you could be against it, I guess, but like, because it's cringy, girl, grow up.
That almost could have been worse than anything she could have said.
That was literally like, that evoked such a reaction in me.
So I asked her to maybe elaborate a little bit on that. She went on a whole rant about how she thinks it's cheesy when she meets a couple and they introduce themselves as the Blanks, the Smiths, the Jones, the whatevers, and that it makes her want to throw up when she hears it in so many other ways, and it makes her angry. When I brought up the fact that her parents have the same last name because they're married, she said, that's different. And
What?
I wouldn't understand because of being an orphan, which really threw me.
Whoa!
What are you talking about? That's different. Your parents are married
Whoa.
and they have the same name. When I brought up the fact that her parents have the same last name because they're married, she said, that's different. And I wouldn't understand because of being an orphan, which really threw me. Long story short, I let her know that I need some time to myself to really think things over and decide how I want to move forward. I asked her to give me time and I would let her know when I'm ready to talk. She didn't like hearing that, but I told her I needed to leave. So now I'm at home thinking about everything and wondering how to move on. I know the relationship is over, but I haven't made the breakup official yet. It's going to hurt for a long time, but I know what I need to do for my own mental health. I can compromise on some things, but I can't be with someone who won't also compromise. Her belongings are still packed up, and my friend has offered to drop them off once I end things with her. Luckily, I live in a gated condo community, so once I take her name off the approved visitors list, she won't be able to come to my house, thank God. I know she won't react well when I tell her we're over. And that's all. I'm going to take some time for myself and try to get over everything. Ending an engagement is tough, and I don't wish this heartbreak on anyone. And we have some comments. TN Bell 0522 says she seriously tried weaponizing the very reason that you want to have the same last name as your spouse and kids when trying to tell you why you wouldn't understand why her parents sharing a last name isn't cringy, but other couples are? Seriously, I'd say she doesn't deserve a discussion for the breakup. Write a letter, put it in her box of crap, and have the friend leave it at her door. Unless the ring is an heirloom and you want it back, of course. In that case, make sure you get it away from the witch. What 3214 says, and she still doesn't make sense anyway. Because how are her parents, a married couple that share the same last name, any different than any other married couple sharing the same last name? I'm sure if OP had pressed her to define how it's different for them, she would have come back with the airtight argument, it just is. OP should let them know apparently their daughter thinks they're the only married people out there who aren't cringy for doing what most married couples do. There is literally no logic to her argument, just some odd sentimental past for her parents, but no one else. She has no empathy for her fiance whatsoever. And there is a second update 6 days later. I anticipate this just being, and she's trying to be a nightmare because you should be gone.
Yeah. Her logic absolutely does not make sense because she's not even offering any. Like she just said that it's cringy for them to do it. And yeah, it won't go any further into the explanation about why it's not with her parents.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a big red flag. I'm so glad that they're not like actively getting married.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I can't think of a more cringy thing than having literally zero empathy for your orphaned fiance who's like, I want to share a name with my beautiful family. I don't care who it is. It's not about me. It's just about us all having a name.
Oh
and
my
you're like,
gosh.
ew, gross. That's giving me the ick.
Yeah, it's like, what?
And it's like, okay, well, you could have fun being single because we're breaking up.
Literally.
6 days later, I went to work on Monday, and my boss could tell I was depressed. So she asked me what was going on. I explained everything that I had on my mind and the conversation I had to have over the weekend. She asked me if I wanted a distraction from everything and offered to have me accompany her and her husband, who are co-owners of the company I work for, on a short trip to meet with some potential clients. I would be
Ooh.
working on the project anyway, so she thought it might be good to have me in the meetings, especially if I needed to get out of town. So early Tuesday morning, the three of us left for the meetings. We were busy all afternoon and part of the evening, so I wasn't checking my personal cell. At 10 p.m., I saw I had a lot of missed calls, I wonder from who, and texts from my fiance. By a lot, I mean over 50 texts and 19 missed calls since that morning. It seems she went to my condo, and when security wouldn't let her in, since I took her off my list of approved visitors, she flipped out. So she started calling and texting me. Then she started trying to contact our mutual friends and her family, none of whom knew where I was either. Her last-ditch effort to get me to answer her was to threaten to call the police and say she hadn't seen me in days and was worried for my safety. And when I didn't answer right away, she went through with that plan. The police were allowed to enter the condo community, and when I didn't answer my door, they couldn't do anything else and left. This didn't please my fiance, and she kept calling and texting. When I saw the calls and messages, I sent one text in reply that only said, "I'm on a work trip until Thursday. Please respect my need for time to think about everything. We will talk when I get home." Then I ignored everything from her for the rest of the week while I was away. Fast forward to Thursday evening. We land back in the city, and I drove home wanting to go to bed and sleep in the next day since I was given the day off. I guess she was lurking nearby because I was told later she tried to follow me into the gate but was stopped by security since she never scanned a parking pass. That's when she starts blowing up my phone again. I texted back one more time to tell her to give me space and we would talk later, then showered and went to sleep. What's so funny about this too is that she was the one who would go like, "We're not talking about this anymore," and then would just walk away. And then you do it to her and she literally like has a fatal meltdown like in her computer brain where it's like, no, wait. I'm going to call you 72 times.
You would think that would be like a learning experience for her, being like, whoa, self-reflection. But no, clearly not.
She can't. There's nothing else to reflect. It's just the self.
Yep.
So that's when she started blowing up my phone again. I texted back one more time to tell her to give me space and we would talk later, then showered and went to sleep. By Friday morning, I had 73 more texts and 32 missed calls. At that point, I knew I had to just end things with her sooner rather than later so I could get some peace. Long story made short, as of yesterday afternoon, I've ended the engagement. I took the same friend who was nearby last weekend so I'd have a witness in case she did anything. She refuses to give the ring back because she thinks I'll come to my senses soon, and she'll keep it until then. I don't even care. She can have it. And by the way, you have full episodes with stories just like this that you can listen to on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is search OK Storytime, and you can listen to freaking 60 days more worth of stories.
So many days.
We have a little bit more story left here. I think OP has done the right thing. You got to call it.
Yeah.
When you realize that your partner's completely unfit
Right.
for a partnership, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. It sucks that, being ready for marriage and talking about marriage is kind of how you ended up here. But at the same time, you learn something new about your partner every day. It's still an important conversation to have. It's still good that you are not quite married yet before figuring out this huge red flag.
It's good it happened before the wedding.
Yes.
Her friends and family started calling me within 15 minutes of me ending things. I've blocked them all since they're being nasty to me and blaming me for it all. Judging by what they're saying, it seems like she made up a story about me having a mental health crisis and wanting to be alone. Again, I don't even care. My good friends were told what happened when my friend sent out a text with a brief explanation. I hope she leaves me alone so I can heal from everything over time. I'm just so emotionally exhausted. There are some comments. Lincoln Hawk Halling says, "You've been more than reasonable with her on this issue. You even offered to take her name if she didn't want yours. You thoroughly explained why sharing a name was very important to you. She instead chose to ignore all of that and drew her line in the sand. I don't know what she was expecting. Honestly, it sounds like you dodged a bullet if you hadn't had this argument and went through with your plan for marriage. It appears she had very little, if any, respect or consideration for you. Glad you are free of her now and can finally have some peace, OP." The real Carpe Felis says, "I think she loves having control and getting to have everything her own way far more than she ever loved OP. A lot of commenters are saying she sounds unhinged. I agree, but I think it's more than just that. You've described before how she always has to have her way. I think the name issue was a power play on her part because the cringe thing sounds like utter BS she made up on the spot. And now that you've broken it off with her, she lost the upper hand. And now she's pissed. You definitely haven't seen or heard the last of her. She's going to get vindictive and you'll probably need a restraining order. Yeah, I was going to say we should definitely get ahead of any false narratives that she's putting out there. If people are reaching out to you, at whatever her family unit, your friend seems to have already taken care of it on the friend side.
Yeah.
But in terms of her family, I would just send out a brief group message to them and be like, this is the last, I'm not going to respond to anything that gets sent here. I'm just sending the real story.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that is the end of that story.
Yes, it is.
I have a no intimacy before marriage rule. My fiance said he'll just hire someone instead.
Yeah. You ever heard of Fiverr?
Hire for what? I, female 26, have been engaged to my fiance, Jack, male 28, for a little less than a year now. And we've been dating for about 3. We met my first year in law school, his second year, and we started dating a month later. By the way, this comes from Big Huckleberry 8072, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, when we got engaged, we both agreed that we wanted to wait until we had both graduated, passed the bar exam, and gotten stable jobs before we got married. That way, we'd be in relatively stable position and have time to save up for the wedding. I was perfectly on board with this plan, and I thought Jack was too. On to the crux of the issue, spicy sleep. I've always intended to wait until I get married to have spicy sleep, for a mixture of religious and personal reasons. I have always been clear about that in my romantic life, usually bringing it up on the first or second date, and it has cost me a handful of dates and a previous relationship when the guy I was with realized I was being serious. Maybe believe women when they say they want something.
My baseline is everyone's joking.
I was honestly worried that Jack wouldn't want to continue dating me after I told him about my stances on spicy sleep. But to my relief and surprise, he said he was fine with it. And over the last 3 years, he has continued to tell me that he's fine waiting for me. That all changed this morning. And again, they've been engaged for about a year. Just wait it out, dude. You're almost there.
You're basically like, you're like 5 credits away from getting your master's degree, and you're like, I think I'm over it.
Can't do it. We met up for breakfast at his apartment before he went to work to discuss future plans a bit more. Jack graduated from law school last year and passed the bar exam last summer. He's working as a legal assistant at a smaller firm and is trying to work his way up the ladder. I just graduated and got my JD this May and am studying for the bar exam coming up in late July. God, I remember being so happy, being so excited that as soon as I managed to pass the bar exam and get my license, we can finally set a date for our wedding next year. I was just talking about wanting a summer wedding when Jack stopped me and dropped a bombshell. He's not happy. He's not fine. He thought he could wait for me, but the prospect of having to wait an entire year for our wedding is too much for him. That's bonkers. Dude, you need help.
I mean, you've been
You can't
waiting
wait
this
a
long,
year?
dude.
You've been waiting 3 years and you can't wait a year? Come on.
Like, just don't be okay with that if you're not okay with that.
Yeah, just from the get-go, dude. That the corn he's been watching, which I've been letting him watch because I knew he needed something before we got married, has just been making him more spicily frustrated. He said he can't do this anymore and laid out 3 options. 1, we move the wedding forward to this winter at the latest. That would mean having a smaller wedding and not being able to book my dream venue, as it needs to be booked at least 9 months in advance. 2, we start sleeping together now. F everything that I've been saying for the past 3 years.
I read that just in a baby voice. 2, we start sleeping together now. Right now.
3, he gets the spicy sleep from somewhere else. Oh, don't worry, dude. We're not going to have the wedding. You can definitely go have spicy sleep with someone else. Because we're not getting married.
You're not a fan of hardworking professionals?
What? Oh, I see. I understand. Yeah, you want to give people jobs?
It's only the oldest profession.
It's true. He promised that if I pick this option, that it'll be meaningless. Said he'll hire a spicy sleep worker or find a random hookup on Tinder or something. Said that if he hired someone, he'd pay for it from his own savings.
Oh, what a
He's like, don't worry, babe. You don't have to pay for me.
They
to
say
see someone
chivalry
else.
is dead, guys.
This guy.
That's crazy. I also think it's kind of wild that he thinks that, like, I don't know, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'll have to pay for it. Like, I won't be able to find anyone. So I'll just have to pay for it. Savings that are supposed to go to our wedding and first house. This man actually wants to pay for a spicy sleep worker with the money saved for our wedding.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't make that big of a dent.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, he can't even find someone.
Are we like...
He's like, I have to pay for a spicy sleep worker.
Maybe he thinks that would be the most morally acceptable way. He's like, I literally paid.
Yeah. The entire conversation was a blur. I don't even think I said anything or did anything other than nod or shake my head and try not to throw up as this man broke my entire world. I don't even think he noticed. He just rushed out the door to go to work, telling me to take my time and that he won't push me to make a decision right away. And now I'm back in my apartment, staring at a lunch I can't bring myself to touch, trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do. Part of me wants to break up, but at the same time, I love this man dearly, and I honestly thought that this was the man I wanted to marry and spend the rest of my life with. But I'm not gonna go along with any of the options he gave me, and I'm not sure if our relationship will survive that. I'm not setting a date for the wedding until I at least pass my bar exam, and while I'm fairly confident I'll pass the one coming up in July, if I fail, I won't get to try again until next year. And as much as I love Jack, I'm not sleeping with him until we're married. I've held on to these beliefs and convictions for 26 years. I'm not dropping them now. And there is no way in heck I'm going to let this man hire a spicy sleep worker or hook up with some random woman. I have too much self-respect to let him do this. Just 2 weeks ago, I had dinner with my father and asked him to walk me down the aisle. I just, that's all I can say.
Dude, press F on your keyboard right now for respects.
So Reddit, am I overreacting for thinking about breaking up with my fiance? And there are some edits, but
no, you're not. No, you're not, because that's crazy.
No, your partner came to you after 3 years, you being very upfront about what you wanted, and then 3 years later, after doing it, after like not sleeping with you and respecting, quote unquote, your decisions, comes to you a year before your wedding and says, I can't do it anymore. What do you mean you can't do it anymore? You're a big boy.
I mean, you did it for, I assume, a long
3
time.
years. You did it for 3 years. Unless
before you'd ever
cheated.
done it.
Yeah.
Right? So...
I really don't understand this logic. People do this all the time. Yeah, no, you are not at all the a-hole for wanting to break up with your fiance. Edit. I realized that the way I wrote this post made it seem like the only reason I'm not willing to move the wedding forward is because I want to get married at my dream venue. That is not how it seemed at all.
No, 0%.
It's not that. I would get married to Jack in a shed if it meant being married to the man I love. It's more about how he wants to take years of planning and arrangements and throw it all out the window, and sprung that fact on me with no warning. As for the part about porn, I see that I phrased that badly as well. I know some couples that consider watching porn to be cheating or just bad for the relationship, but Jack and I agreed early on that it's fine. He watches porn semi-regularly, and I've never minded it, although it's not for me. Edit 2, I've cooled down enough to text Jack, and we have agreed to meet for dinner tomorrow night to properly talk about our relationship. I love my fiance, and I want this to work, and I'm hoping that we can figure out where to go from here. Thank you all for your advice. And there is an update, folks.
Boy, oh boy,
What?
should you just maybe calmly sit down with this man and explain why you're going to leave?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, he's gone full...
I can't wait for
the
him.
principle.
I can't wait for him. Like, I waited for nothing.
Right, and that's the principle where it's like,
And I'm
then
like,
this
oh.
is all wrong. You're like...
That's the thing. He's not, like, the fact that he's not even, it's not like, oh, I'm so lucky I get to be in a relationship with you. We're about to get married. It's,
Right.
we're about to get married so I can sleep with you.
It's just a finish line.
Yeah,
And then once you
which is
pass the finish
gross.
line, the race is over. So you're just going to be married to a guy who's like, yeah, no, whatever.
Finally got what
where's
I
the next
wanted.
race? Yeah.
It's like, no, what you want should be this relationship, not spicy sleep. And if that is something that you want in your relationship immediately, then that's okay, but be upfront about it.
Yeah. If
Before-
someone,
yeah.
Yeah. If someone tells you this, don't say you're okay with it if you're not.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, you want to wait? Well, it's not how I operate.
Literally.
How long are we waiting? How long are we talking?
While some of you may not be happy to hear this, I'm not breaking up with Jack.
What? Come on.
My fiance and I met for dinner last night and had a very long conversation about our relationship and what our future looks like going forward. I think we talked for almost 3 hours, and it was definitely the most honest we have been in our entire relationship, for better and for worse. The first thing Jack did was apologize and try to explain himself. Apparently his frustration with the lack of an intimacy in our relationship started late last year, but didn't get particularly bad until the spring and summer, especially after I graduated. He said that while he thought he could handle it when we met up on Friday, and I was talking about setting dates and wanting a summer wedding for next year, it hit him that he couldn't deal with a spiceless relationship for another year, and everything came spilling out. That he'd panicked and just thrown out whatever came to mind and then ran off because he needed time to think and figure things out. And that he'd only realized how bad things had sounded when he'd gotten to work and he had no idea what to do then.
No, I see that. That's real. I could see that happening where he's like, yeah, no, whatever. Just, take some time to think about it. It's fine. And then he gets to work. He's like, did I just implode my entire life? Wait a minute. How am I supposed to work today? I have to go home now. Wait. Oh, God.
Yeah, this man is stupid. Yikes. He seemed to accept my apology. Why did you apologize? But I know we still have a long way to go in that regard. What?
Why did you apologize? What did she do? Why did you apologize? Why did she apologize?
I also admitted that while I was hurt by some of the suggestions he had thrown out, the ones where he was going to sleep with other people, I was more hurt by the fact that he hadn't talked to me about this sooner. I'm well aware that I probably should have realized that something was wrong sooner. You're not a mind reader. But we've gone over the same plans dozens of times, and not once has he ever said anything. In fact, waiting to start planning the wedding until we both passed the bar exam was his idea. I've lost count of how many times I've asked Jack if he's sure he's all right with not having intimacy past hand stuff and occasionally watching porn together, and he always brushed it off and insisted it was fine. He actually teared up at the end and apologized again, admitting that he hadn't known how to bring it up, that he had thought he could handle it, especially in the beginning, but the unhappiness and frustration had slowly crept up until it suddenly hit him that he couldn't do this anymore, and that he didn't know how to say anything because I had laid out my intentions of remaining celibate until marriage from the very start of our relationship, and he had repeatedly said he was all right with that until he wasn't. I apologized for making Jack feel like he couldn't bring it up to me and reassured him that if he's unhappy, I want him to tell me. Stop apologizing.
You didn't do that, though.
He did that.
Yeah.
If there's anything that I've learned from this site, it's that resentment ends a relationship, and I don't want it to end ours too. And then I brought up his suggestion of having spicy sleep with a spicy sleep worker and point blank asked him where the heck that had come from. Every other suggestion he made I could understand, but not that one. At that point, he had basically buried his head in his arms, sticking half of his hair in his plate of spaghetti, might I add. God, I love this man even when he's being an idiot, which is all the time.
No, why? Don't do that. No. And his hair being in his spaghetti because he's distraught about wanting to hire a sex worker is not cute.
And admitted that that had been an act of utter stupidity on his part. Apparently, a few of his male friends, especially the younger ones, have been giving him crap recently about the lack of intimacy in our relationship, calling him a virgin and a duck. They were the ones who kept telling him to hire a spicy sleep worker or have a random hookup if I wouldn't put out. And when he panicked and spilled everything on Friday morning, that had come out as well. I just want to really quickly pause and say how disgusting it is that he not only listened to his friends, remained friends with them, but he also acted upon their words. Brought this up with you. That's not an act of stupidity. That's an act of cowardice. He promised that I was the only one he wants and that he didn't mean a single word of it and kept apologizing profusely. We agreed that while I forgave him, we'd need to talk about it more and that we also needed to have a long conversation about the company Jack keeps. Although he made it clear that he doesn't plan on hanging out with those friends anymore. Good. That's step number 1 is getting rid of all his friends. Anyways, enough rambling. We ultimately decided on a few things and a compromise. First of all, we're going to be doing couples counseling, and I've decided I need to see a therapist. This whole debacle has made us realize that we have a lot to work out and need to learn some better communication skills if we're going to make this work. I've also recognized that I've got some personal habits and traits that I need to break down and work on, and I'm hoping a therapist will help with that, and maybe catch some personal issues that I may not be able to recognize. Unfortunately, getting a couples counselor or a therapist is not nearly as easy as Reddit makes it out to be. And from the brief research I did last night and this morning, every place in the area either costs hundreds of dollars per hour-long session or is booked solid for weeks. But I don't plan on giving up searching anytime soon. I also took some of the suggestions y'all gave me And after almost an hour of talking, we came up with a compromise. While we still want a proper wedding ceremony at some point, we decided that we legally will get married at the courthouse and then have a small ceremony and party at our local church with our closest family and friends. And then sometime next summer, we can have a proper ceremony to celebrate with all our friends and family. By the way, all your friends and family should listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
I'm real mad.
Me
I'm real
too.
mad. The point I'm trying to make here is that not that his questions or his his suggestions
Yeah.
would have been appropriate either way, but the fact that they were doing something a little spicy.
That's what I was going to say too.
And
It's
he's
like
still like this.
He was getting freaking like hand stuff happening and he's still like, you're not doing it. Like, what?
Come
What?
on, brother. Like, come on, dude,
That's-
like what?
That was going to point that out too. That's ridiculous.
Your logic's weird,
And
dude.
also, I just want to point out, he got his way.
He did.
He got his way. They're marrying early.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think a little ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. There's a little bit left though. Jack seemed genuinely happy with this plan. Yeah, because it's his plan.
Jack seemed genuinely happy
To have
when
gotten
the
his
plan
way.
he wanted to happen became the plan.
And looked incredibly relieved. And while we haven't set an exact date yet, we're hoping to get married sometime in September or October at the latest. I'm actually going to start working on the paperwork as soon as I finish this post, so that's where we are. I know this isn't the update everyone wanted, but at the end of the day, I love Jack more than anything, and we're both committed to putting in the work to keep this relationship together. And so that's what we're gonna do on his terms.
Hey, I mean,
You were so close.
Poor girl waited 4 years and is about to be so disappointed.
Yeah.
My fiance refused to get tested, so I broke off our engagement.
Tested?
Don't test me.
Oh.
My fiance and I have been together for 5 years. He's the love of my life, and I literally can't imagine being without him. So the thought of doing this is making my stomach roll. Ugh. He was adopted, and neither he nor his parents knew much about his medical history. A few weeks ago, he met his biological brother for the first time and found out that his birth father had passed from Huntington's disease. Oh, that's huge.
What is that?
I forgot what the disease does, but I know it passes down. Like it's a genetic one.
Right.
Obviously, if this is your partner, you want to know for your future children.
Right.
Very important.
Right.
By the way, this comes from user Just Need ANA Miak. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, there's a 50% chance that my fiance also has the genetic defect that causes Huntington's, but he refuses to get tested. Why?
I mean, maybe it's because it's like the classic thing of like, oh, I don't want to know if I'm going to get the insane disease, but which if he's a individual person, not in a relationship or anything, I'm like, okay, fine. That's your prerogative. I don't know. I'm actually a little bit on the fence because obviously it does affect his wife and their future children.
Yes.
But also it is kind of, I'm a little bit torn. At this second, I think I need time to think on it. A little torn.
Gotcha. Especially since he just found out. I get it.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is a lot, but it's one of those things that it does need to be brought up. Like, you should.
Riley, what do you got?
He can't handle the truth.
He can't handle the truth. You
Thank
heard it
you.
here first, folks.
Thank you, Riley Bot.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's not the disease I'm scared of. It's the not knowing. If we know he'll get it, we can prepare financially, practically, and emotionally. He says a positive test result will hold him back from living his life, but I feel like it's the opposite. How could we live with this giant maybe looming over us? How can I make smart decisions on where to live, how to budget, or even whether or not to have biological children with this man if I'm allowed to have all the facts? So, I've come to the decision that I have to break it off.
Oh, snap. Wow.
You didn't give him a chance, or like,
Yeah,
if he
I'm
kept
not
saying
sh-
no, I get it, but like
I'm
it
not
seems
sure about
if this seems all very rash.
Yeah.
Don't be rash.
I respect his decision, but I can't understand or accept it. I have literally no one I can talk to about this because it's his effing secret and not mine to tell. And there is an edit. I just want to clarify a few things up here. One, I would not leave him if he tested positive for the defect. I would not leave him if he got sick. I just want to plan for us to be able to afford the best life and care for him if he does, which means we'd have to start immediately. 2, I don't want or need perfect children. That isn't realistic, but it is possible to avoid them being subjected to a 50-50 chance of having the disease. Of course, there are alternative options, but again, they involve preparation and planning. I'm more than willing to take a full genetic panel as well. 3, yes, one or both of us could get cancer or permanently disabled in an accident or any other number of things. But I've come to learn that you can't plan for every unpredictable thing life throws at you. This is the rare occasion that we do have the opportunity to prepare. Essentially, it comes down to the fact that we're incompatible, regardless of how much we love each other. I'm a planner, and he's very laid back. Until now, these traits have complemented each other, but unfortunately, they've brought us to an impasse that I don't think we both move forward from happily. And there is a second edit. I've decided to take a few steps back.
Walker, step back, Walker, Cardi.
Those of you who brought up the fact that a few weeks is probably too little time for him to fully process his possible diagnosis have a really valid point.
Yeah.
Just because I want to immediately jump into problem-solving mode doesn't mean it's necessarily the right thing to do here. So, I'm not leaving. Yet, at least. And hopefully never. I'm going to find a therapist to help me work through my anxieties and give my fiance some space, not literal, to work through his. And then we'll revisit this conversation, hopefully with more patience on my part and willingness to act on his. And there is an update. John, how do we feel?
Well, Kelsey Jade made a great comment, and that was giving us what Huntington's disease is. Huntington's disease is a hereditary neurodegenerative disorder that affects thinking and mood caused by mutation.
Yes.
And I saw someone, maybe Riley, if you could do some additional research, someone was basically saying like, if you have that diagnosis, then it like does mean that you will pass away from it. I think that's essentially what the comment was saying. Yeah. Medical testing. Yeah. That's important to know if you don't want to have kids or if you want to have any kids of yours to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause it's like,
we've read a story with, that's why I remember it. I don't remember the exact reasoning, but I remember we read a story where the parents hid it from OP and OP grew up and they're like, I have a family now. And like, what? And we were like, that's messed up.
Wait, like they hid from the child that they had Huntington's disease?
Their parents had one of the parents had Huntington's and they didn't tell OP until like, until they're like a full adult.
And
they
after
knew
they had kids. Oh, so they pass it down without even having the.
I don't think we knew. I don't remember exactly, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And like that one was like, okay, they suck because they knew and they didn't tell.
Yes.
But now you have the opportunity. Again, with what we know now, especially with OP of like her soon-to-be husband is laid back, chill guy, and he doesn't like to plan things, and OP's planning.
Yeah.
This makes a lot of sense now.
Yes.
This makes a lot of sense that immediately that she's like, we have to start right now. If we don't, it's all going to collapse and it won't make, like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I guarantee he's like, whoa, I just need to process this.
He's scared.
He's scared.
It's a lot to have to deal with. Yeah. And someone said it's in chat, they said it's a terminal disease.
It seems like right now nothing's happening yet. They're working through things.
Yes. That's what we need to do.
This is like, hey, maybe we just take a little bit of time, take a little bit of a breather to see where we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I think OP, like, you know, one for sure on the just immediately to divorce was like, hey, wait, hold on, give him some time. Let's process. Let's like talk about his game plan. And then honestly, too, chat, you might disagree with me on this, but I think if they don't have children and she knows he might have it, it's not like she's completely in the dark. She knows there's a chance he has it. I think in that scenario, it could be okay to respect his right to not want to get tested, because it's like, if I'm not passing it down to a kid, and I know it's a tough one, but I think that might be okay. I might change my mind during this episode, but I think Riley disagrees with me.
I don't know how the testing goes. Like, what does it have to go through blood work, or like if it's like very severe? If it's just like a simple like blink blood test, I don't see why not. It does prepare you for the truth. Like, it's one of those things like, do you want to know how, like, when you pass? Or like, you're like, no. Or like, do you want to know when you have, like, how? You're like, no, but like, this is something where like at least you can prepare yourself for like when it does happen. That's what, I get where OP's coming from, especially if they're going to have a future together.
Kelsey Jade agrees with me. I might be alone on an island on this one, and I might change my mind too, but we'll see.
Yeah, we have an update. Anyway, we talked about it. At length, we cried, we fought, we researched, I showed him empathy. We consulted with friends, family, and specialists. We pressed pause for days or weeks when we needed a break from the whole damn thing. And in the end, he agreed to have the test. He's negative.
He's negative. We're going to beat this, okay? We're going to... Come here.
So...
Oh my God.
He flipped the coin, the 50-50, and he's negative.
Thank freaking God.
Both for developing the disease himself, as well as the risk of passing it on.
Amazing.
Great stuff.
Amazing.
No matter what else happens, this is one area where he's assuredly safe. All this said, once the euphoria faded, we decided it was necessary to put a hold on our engagement and take some time apart. I spent the last few months traveling abroad, and other than a few texts, we haven't spoken much. But I'm home now, and we have our second first date tonight. Wish me luck. And we have some edits.
Cute.
I mentioned this a million times in my first post, but here goes again. I had no plans to leave if he tested positive. It was just assuring, again, OP just wanted to be assured because OP likes to plan for the future. She just wants to make sure, if in case that does happen. I just needed to know so that we can plan our lives accordingly. Boom. We decided together to take a break. It's been an incredibly difficult, emotionally charged roller coaster of a year. I didn't leave him. We planned from one day to keep communication to a minimum. It was difficult. I actually began keeping a journal of all the things I wanted to call or text him about. It's extensive, and I can't wait to share it with him. I didn't give him an ultimatum, but I understand why that's the takeaway. I only told Reddit that I was thinking of leaving, and I know that it was rash and irrational. Why does everyone seem to think that traveling means sleeping around?
I was going to make the joke of, traveling around is a funny way of saying clapping cheeks, but I didn't.
No. This was, I think for both of them, they just needed to, take a step back and just...
Riley?
I mean, they probably did that too, but if you're going to focus on us, get some alone time.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah. It's not bad to go travel alone and do your own thing. Yes, you want to do it with your partner, but some alone time is good.
I feel like it gives them a second to just make sure, this was kind of a crazy, they basically almost split over this.
Yeah.
They were right on the brink of that. And so now it's okay, we have a chance to let the dust settle, make sure we're both if we go back into this relationship, we're both yes, this is what we want. We thought about, we've had time on our own where we're not influencing each other.
Or we're emotionally pressing each other, or because even if it was happy times, they're oh, you got the good news. There's still, all that high intensity, all that stress, all that anxiety, all that pressure. I think, it's just have some time to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We have a second update, John.
Oh, snap.
It feels like many of you are determined for there to be a bad guy here, but please don't put this label on my fiance. He doesn't deserve it. He's not a knucklehead, an a-hole, or an ostrich.
Oh.
He's a man who was suddenly forced to face his own mortality. He had a very human response, and I didn't make it any easier on him during those first few weeks. Essentially, he concluded, in his words, that the cat was already halfway out of the bag, and it could come out, but it was never going back in. If he was positive, we'd be obsessing over every little thing being a possible symptom. But if we left things as they were, we'd be doing that anyway. That doesn't mean it was easy at all. We actually had to make a second appointment to get the results because he couldn't bring himself to hear them the first time.
Oh.
Yeah, can you imagine? It's so high, it's so stressful that, again, you're going to find out, hey, your life will be cut short.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all for the time he needed to take to get that.
Yeah.
I get it.
But that was okay. I was there for him the whole time to support him however he needed to. Well, the magic was still there. We may have spent months apart, but it didn't feel that way at all. In fact, everything felt even better and more comfortable when we were parted. We felt like the happy couple we'd been back in January before this whole thing started. It was like there was a weight hanging over our relationship that was keeping us from actually moving forward despite the good news. and it's finally been lifted. Before last night, I couldn't remember the last time anything with him felt bright and easy. But we're back, baby!
Yeah!
We stayed up all night sharing stories and pictures and telling each other about the people we'd met. It was absolutely amazing sharing our experiences with each other. I know it may seem like it would have been better if we'd done it together, but there was something really special about living it through each other's eyes. Anyway, we have the rest of our lives to travel the world together. Because we're not breaking up. Suck on that, people who were hoping he'd leave me. By the way, we never leave you. Because we got full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast app. Go to Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Again, your favorite podcast app and search what, John?
Okay, story time.
Ooh, smooth like butter. There's a little bit left of the story, John, but it seems like we're at the end and everything's going in the right direction.
You know, my therapist says a thing.
Oh, yes.
In addition to pain is growth.
Yeah.
In addition to that.
Say that really slowly for us.
Yep. I won't. And that is, we're humans. He got this news of like, okay, you know, you might have this thing. You get tested. OP's freaking out like, oh my God, you need to do this right now. Da, 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 da. Sometimes humans are going to human. And when we human, we can not be the best and not be 100%. But what matters is not those moments, but the aggregate, the coming together, the talking, the working it out, the full picture of what's happening. And if in the full picture we come together, we work through things, we work it out. Again, I was a little like, I was very suspicious of OP not letting him kind of like have his space and going straight to the divorce. However, you know, they did both come together. It all worked out.
Mm-hmm.
They went through a tough thing. I think they grew better and stronger for going through that tough thing. And you could say all's well that ends well.
Wrap that up with a nice little ribbon. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, literally. I think they bettered themselves and they bettered their relationship. So let's go ahead and finish the story.
Let's do it.
Look, we know this new honeymoon period we're in won't last forever, but I really think we're prepared to handle whatever other challenges life tries to throw at us. Honestly, there's a pretty good chance we've already gotten through the worst one, knock on wood, but even if there's something bigger and better waiting for us, I'm completely optimistic we'll be okay. So that's that. We've officially reached the other side of our first major life issue together. Did either of us behave perfectly? No. Are we going to be perfect next time? Probably not. Are we 100% committed to combining our completely opposite ways of dealing with crises into a superpower designed to crush conflict like a 90s cartoon? Abso-effing-lutely.
I love it.
Yeah. And we have some comments. Comment 1, it's an awful disease. I don't blame people not wanting to know if they carry the gene or not. Once you test positive, you know with a 100% chance that you will get the disease and it will eventually unalive you. And it's an awful death. You lose your grip on reality, your emotional balance, and controls of your movements. It's like schizophrenia turning into dementia, turning into Parkinson's and ALS.
Wow.
Wow, that is a way to put it.
Brutal.
Yeah. Individuals who live long enough usually pass away because of repeated pneumonia caused by food aspiration. There are no treatments and nothing really effective to prevent the disease. And the punter here, no one can really tell when you will get the disease. Depending on the state of the mutation that you carry, doctors can give you an estimate such as most people with a mutation similar to yours develop the disease around 45. But it is not a perfect prediction. For the same mutation, you have people that will develop the disease at 30, while some will stay asymptomatic until their late 50s, early 60s.
Wow.
And no one really knows why. And again, it's not great. That's why when I heard it first thing, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Yeah.
So again, here's to also the dismay of what if he did get it? I think it would have been the same exact thing. OP would have been like, hey, we need some time apart. Let's do this and let's live our lives to the fullest.
Yeah.
There's, again, no bad guy here. This was just a crazy situation. The bad guy is Huntington's disease.
There it is.
That's the real bad guy.
There it is.
But that is the end of that story.
Okay. Are we ready for this final story?
This is the last story of the day.
That's it.
My mother-in-law's children all cut her off, and now I understand why.
Uh-oh, the truth is revealed.
My fiance Nick, 25 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for almost 5 years and are getting married next year. For context, Nick has 3 other siblings, Haley, 23 female, Ella, 20 female, and Christian, 26 male. Before I met Nick, my future mother-in-law had cheated on their dad/stepdad, Aaron. At the time, Ella was still in school, and she ended up staying with Aaron. From what I heard, their relationship wasn't great, but we all agree that gives no right for her to cheat. My future mother-in-law had ended up moving in with the guy she cheated with, Evan. And by the way, this comes from a user LazyCucumber5198 on the r/Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when I met Nick and we started the meet the parents stage, he wasn't too keen on going to see them because of Evan. I apologized because I know this question will come up. I have no idea while she was cheating if he knew it was cheating. We had dinner at their home, and Nick actually warmed up to Evan. I reminded Nick that even though what your mother did wasn't okay, that doesn't mean you have to put that hurt and anger onto Evan. Sometime later, we had the financial talk, and I found out that he helps my future mother-in-law out a lot. I grew up with parents that had the mindset that we are their children regardless if we are adults. Although my parents have asked for my help in the past, it was typically for bills that were hitting before their paychecks, so I would always get the money back within a few days. This was not that situation. My future mother-in-law was asking for money because she was on disability and couldn't work. My fiance tried many methods of getting her to go to school or find a work-from-home job, but she refused. I noticed pretty quickly that the money she was asking for wasn't going to what she said it was going to either. Although it was pointed out, he would still help her. I had no problem with him doing this, but reminded him that this was not normal and I would not be helping in any capacity because I know when I see it. One time, about 1.5 years into our relationship, Nick was in the middle of training for a new job when he realized he needed to fix his personal finance situation. He called my future mother-in-law to ask about a loan their bank offers to get a better understanding of what it was like. During that call, she had showed him something on Facebook Marketplace for the 3 dogs she had. An hour after that phone call, she called asking for money for some doctor's appointment. However, it was the same amount of money for the thing on Facebook Marketplace. He obviously told her no and that he didn't have money, which is why he was asking about the loan. I will say his financial situation has gotten so much better and he's in a much better place. Evan got sometime in 2021 and went through long and hard treatments. He almost lost his job because of it, but in 2022 he was free. My future mother-in-law and Evan got married in 2022 and bought a house much further away from Aaron's home. It's mainly Evan's house, as future mother-in-law has extremely bad credit. Future mother-in-law, in her and Aaron's relationship, had taken credit cards out in his name and maxed them out. She also was so entranced by Haley buying a nice car that she had to buy one of her own even though she could barely pay for it. Future mother-in-law had to continue trading in her vehicles until she got one she could actually afford. During that process, she asked Nick and Haley if they could co-sign with her, which they both refused to do. But future mother-in-law did get a job and knew that disability checks were not covering bills anymore. Future mother-in-law does have some health issues, but can do a majority of things without issue. The majority is from a botched surgery she had years ago and mental health issues. In 2023, we got engaged. I started training for a new job and had moved in with Nick. In early 2024, future mother-in-law didn't like the job she was at and at some points was showing self-harm thoughts and potential issues. Thankfully, that got a little better. However, one of her issues during that time was that Haley and Ella weren't talking to her and being nice. Now, throughout our entire relationship, future mother-in-law is the type of mother that calls her children every day and complains to the majority of the phone call about her own problems. Future mother-in-law will call 100 times a day if you don't answer, and I'm not exaggerating. Are we blocking our mom for calling us 100 times?
You might have to. You might have to if it's not going to work. I don't know. Maybe block her for the day and then call her later.
Definitely not. It just is like a,
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that that's not the way that you get someone to answer the phone.
Right. Because maybe she won't understand, like, oh, if my call just like fully isn't going through, that means that she's blocked. Like, maybe she doesn't know that, and she's just like, oh, I just can't call right now. It's not working.
I'm seeing it right now. She's gonna call. It's gonna hang up, and then she's gonna be like, "Oh my God, something happened." She's gonna call 911, get the police involved.
Dude, that would be crazy.
And then that would be maybe I don't know. Jeez,
That'd be
Louise.
crazy.
Yeah, this is clearly a huge problem that needed to be addressed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Nick had to talk to Haley and Ella about their attitude with future mother-in-law and that they needed to call more. Future mother-in-law job searched and suddenly wanted to go into a similar field as me. My job is not an easy job, to the point that you have to be physically and mentally fit to be able to do it, or you could hurt yourself. There is a high percentage of self-harm in my profession. I told her it was a bad idea and she was not fit for this job. The day before training started, she thankfully dropped out. Future mother-in-law ended up finding a somewhat more suitable job at the county animal shelter.
What job is this? My goodness. This has to be some sort of like, not just like high stress, but something, I don't know.
When I was briefly in between lives and I was like, what am I doing? I did briefly consider going into the military and becoming a drone pilot.
Oh, yeah?
And then I looked more into the information about the PTSD rates and also like the...
Like self-harming?
Yeah, and I was like, nah, that maybe actually I
Wow.
don't need that in my life at
Dang.
all.
Yeah.
This created more problems as she took in more pets that she couldn't afford and was getting hurt on the job all the time. At one point, she had 6 dogs and 3 cats. She had built a catio, which was a large chicken coop outside, not connected to the house, where the 3 cats stayed. We live in a southern state. She had the cats locked up in the outdoor catio? That's not how that works. That's a come and go open door policy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like connected to your door or
Yeah.
some sort of entrance somehow.
It's supposed to go from the inside to the outside so
Yeah.
that they can just go outside without going outside
They're not
all the way.
supposed to
Yeah.
live on the patio.
Oh my God.
Even if it's cats.
It's like being like, I got a dog, but it just lives in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
What? As a cat owner myself, I almost yelled at her for animal cruelty for those cats. Even Haley, who owned one of the cats, was really upset, and when she told future mother-in-law how she felt about it, future mother-in-law didn't care. After future and mother-in-law wanted a similar job to me, I started looking at other things and noticed a pattern. Future and mother-in-law was trying to be like me in some weird way. I noticed she had changed her hair color to be similar to mine, mainly black and red. Future mother-in-law got a lot more tattoos. With what money, I have no idea. And when I met her, she had like 3. I have 15 tattoos now, and she has way more. And she's gotten a bunch of facial piercings. I have 1 eyebrow piercing. This will come into play later. In mid-2024, Evan found out that the had spread, and it was much worse than the last time. Evan was done fighting and decided he didn't want to go through any more treatments and just live out his life until he was gone. Everyone else in the family respected that and understood his reasoning behind it. Future mother-in-law did not, and she started to get progressively worse mentally. Nick and I had bought a house and kind of combined our finances. We have our account we share for bills, and then we have our own personal accounts for whatever we want to do. Nick still continued to help future mother-in-law for gas money, doctor's appointments, etc. Well, during one of Evan and future mother-in-law's arguments, Evan texted Nick and told him that the money he's been giving to future mother-in-law was going to other things and gave examples. Future mother-in-law texted Nick and said she was leaving Evan because she couldn't handle how he treated her and that he didn't want to go through the treatments. Evan, by this point, had left his job because he could no longer physically do it and is on disability checks. Nick, for the first time, told future mother-in-law off, explaining that she hasn't proven to be better by any means and was still basically a financial and emotional succubus that only thought of herself and not what anyone else was going through. Future mother-in-law got upset and would not take any accountability whatsoever. Nick took time to cool off and slowly led her back into his life. She tried to text me a few times, but I was very short and to the point with her, as I was not getting involved and I did not need her doing that to me. This was all because future mother-in-law was planning to buy a shed, but needed Nick's help to do so that when Evan passed away, she could live in it in the backyard and rent out the house. LOL. Nick obviously said he was not co-signing on anything with her, which started the argument. Around this time, too, future and mother-in-law had asked who Nick's priority was, me or her. And he obviously chose me and told her that she can't get mad for ever asking that question.
Yeah.
Duh.
That's stupid. Is it your future wife or me, your mother? It's like, why are you even bringing that? That's a stupid question to ask. It's stupid.
Would you love me if I was a worm? No.
No, because I'm not attracted to worms.
You'd be a worm. I wouldn't know.
You'd be a worm.
anything about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could you say that to me? It's so mean.
Yeah. You hear
That's where we're at.
that? Yeah.
Okay. Duh. I'm his fiance, the woman he's going to marry, who he lives with, etc., etc. Spring 2025, Haley goes no contact with future mother-in-law. Haley was already annoyed by how her mother was acting and constantly asking for money. She would refuse to listen to what job schedule she had and called randomly when she isn't allowed to have her phone. Haley was overall tired of her complaining, and I fully understood and advised that I was proud of her for making that decision. Nick had a hard time with it but understood his sister's decision. I had to explain to him that this includes talking about Haley to future mother-in-law, as that will create more issues and make future mother-in-law want to reach out to Haley when she is no contact. Nick didn't like it but understood. Late spring 2024-5, future mother-in-law decided to go rogue. Nick called me while I was working night shift to tell me that Evan had removed future mother-in-law from the home and he had no idea where she was or what she was doing. Nick at this point was so tired of her BS, but still felt obligated to help her. Nick explained that because of his Mexican heritage, where a family always helps family, even though his mother was unhelpable, he still felt the need to help her. We ended up having a conversation with my parents because he needed outside perspective on the matter. We were afraid that she was coming to stay with us and would randomly show up at the house. My parents were able to help us formulate a plan in case she showed up at our door asking for help. It mainly was made up of specific boundaries and rules that she had to follow. Future mother-in-law thankfully called him the next day and was nowhere near us, but at a coworker's house or something. Haley had spoken with Evan, who advised he did not do what she said he did, like remove her from the house. She left on her own accord after an argument and took the 3 dogs she had left with her. Evan was not barring her from the house or whatever she was owed in a divorce if she wanted it. Evan was honestly just over it. Future mother-in-law was told to get rid of all of her pets. Thankfully, most were adoptable, except one of the dogs that was so poorly trained it could not be with anyone without being aggressive, so he had to be put down. While staying with that coworker, she borrowed money from them to buy an air mattress for a guest in the room she was staying in.
What? For her guest? In a room that she doesn't even own?
I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
Nap
time.
You gotta be dreaming thinking that you're inviting guests over.
That's why. And then having them pay for the air mattress? That's crazy.
This
That's
is just
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
how
guys.
did we get here? How are we still letting this? How?
I don't know.
A few days ago, Ella received a call from future mother-in-law, and at first it was normal. Then a man came on the phone and explained that he was the guy that future mother-in-law had first cheated on Aaron with, and he could now have her. He explained future mother-in-law was safe, healthy, and happy with him, and a bunch of other weird stuff. Ella was super freaked out and called me upset because of it. Evan then sent a text to Haley where he had seen future mother-in-law out with this man. Future mother-in-law found out that Evan knew of her new quote-unquote relationship and is now apparently tormenting him by texting him constantly. Mother-in-law cheated on Aaron with more than just this one guy she had been with. So she cheated with this new guy first.
Yeah.
And then Evan didn't even know.
Apparently.
Future mother-in-law tried friending me on Facebook with this new profile where her hair is now blonde. I recently started going blonde a few months ago. Not fully blonde because where my previous hair dye is, but slowly I'm becoming blonde. Future mother-in-law randomly bought a crotch rocket bike that I don't think she can drive and is living with this man. Nick and Haley went to visit Ella, Aaron, and Christian over the next couple weeks. Haley told me that she was going to visit Evan because she felt bad and wanted to make sure he understood that he was still part of the family, especially with all of his health problems. I told her to let him know that I was with her and that if he needed anything to not hesitate to reach out. Well, turns out that future mother-in-law had taken out 2 credit cards in his name and maxed them out too, basically the same thing she did to Aaron. Now, Nick, on the other hand, didn't like that Haley and Ella were taking Evan to dinner. However, Nick went to see future mother-in-law. He basically sounded like we shouldn't be taking sides, and I asked him why he was going to see future mother-in-law then. His response was, I don't want to be a part of her self-harm note.
Yikes, man. Yikes.
Like, does your mom need inpatient, my guy? Like, I think we're being awfully dismissive over something that is like a really, really big concern.
Yeah.
If you are worried that your mom is in a place where she could do that, like, she needs to get it addressed.
Right. We need to help her. And if this is not a person that these people like want to be around to help her get her professional help, it definitely should be something that we are talking about in a more serious way, I think.
I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a mental health professional. However, based on all of the behavior I'm reading in this story, it sounds like your mom is just in like a constant mental health crisis.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I would be so deeply disturbed by the mimicking of my fiance. If I'm the son, I'm like, hey.
It's so weird, man. That's so weird.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm at a loss for words. On one hand, I do see where Nick is coming from, and I'm grateful I'm not stuck like other fiancés and wives where he defends her because he honestly hasn't. He just deals with it. However, at the same time, I really wish he would just let that part of him go and go no contact. She's probably the worst thing for his mental health and is always dragging him down. I believe he isn't giving her money anymore, but still. As I was writing this, I was on the phone with him, and he had to end the call because future mother-in-law would not stop calling him. Nick did say one thing about Evan that put me off, and that is that he isn't family. Haley, Ella, and I disagree in that he put up with future mother-in-law just as we have, and honestly, I'd say he's family. And by the way, I'll say you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one on your favorite podcasting platform, be it Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to the full archive. Wow.
Do it.
I'm going to be honest with all of you. I hated reading that story, and I needed that moment between me and Keon. So we have a little bit of story left. Like, you know, again, already today, I'm like, normalize cutting off people who are not good for you. Like, that you don't like.
I know, because it's hard, because, like, in the last story, it was so much easier because it was just a friend, and this is a mom, but it still is like, oh, my gosh. Like, he just puts up with her. He doesn't even try to make excuses. He knows that she's acting all cuckoo, but he also knows he can't do anything about it. So it's like, what do you do with that? I think, like we were saying earlier, try to get her some kind of help, because this is not good. Not good forever.
Yeah, unsustainable. Let's finish this story. Now for the wedding. Since Haley is no contact, she's okay with coming to the wedding, knowing future mother-in-law is invited. I revoked future mother-in-law's +1, which would have been Evan, but I already know she's going to try to bring this new guy. Haley and Ella fully believe she's going to ruin our wedding somehow because no one wants to babysit her. Nick the other night said Haley had to do it, and she goes, no, the F I'm not. She needs to stay away from me. That's crazy that Nick said Haley, who is no contact with their mother, needs to be the one to look out for her during the wedding.
Couldn't have picked a worse person.
I feel like, Nick is blinded by either just the traditions or whatever. He can't look past the idea of what he should do or should be to what is. He's not able to see what it is.
Yeah.
I reamed him out for that one because we've had the no contact discussion and he apologized. I'm going to defend my fiance because he has way bigger issues going on in his life than dealing with his mother, so him thinking that far ahead and what could happen isn't in his mind right now, and he's honestly the type of person to push stuff like this in the back of his head to try to forget it. I don't feel like my future mother-in-law will ever take over our relationship because he has already expressed losing me over future mother-in-law drama and stuff, especially when we thought she was on her way here that one time. I just wanted to share and can hopefully update in a year when my wedding happens because I'm sure there will be more drama coming our way. Let's see what this commenter has to say.
Let's see it.
Because I'm honestly at a loss.
Yeah.
Comment 1. Since you pointed out how much future mother-in-law imitates you, I expect her to show up in a white dress. Also, is Nick her favorite child? It seems that way to me. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but it sounds like she asks him for help the most. It sounds like she's looking for men who will take care of her, Aaron, Evan, the new guy. And when they stop suiting her, she temporarily replaces their support or financing with Nick. I'm sorry, OP. I don't think this situation will improve on its own. Your future mother-in-law will always be irresponsible with money and will always expect everyone to help her since it's worked for her in the past. I don't think you can change the situation. It sounds like the only person who can do anything about it is Nick. People who are desperate have no problem saving money or taking a job they don't like. It seems like your future mother-in-law has never been in a desperate situation because she knows that even if everything goes wrong, Nick will help her. And that is the end of that story.
My mother disapproves of my fiance and it's ruining everything.
What don't you like?
Trigger warning for emotional abuse. For some quick background information, my mom, 55 female, and I, 25 female, were in a pretty bad car accident in Georgia in 2019 that gave her traumatic brain injury and damaged her frontal lobe, decision making, emotional regulation, and logical thinking. Oh, I had an uncle like this. It took him a while to get back around, but it was tough.
It's tough because I mean, like, you can't really fault them because it's not them.
She moved to Arizona about 6 months later, was doing fine. Then the vid hit, and she was made homeless. I was in college at the time and in no position to up and leave, so we helped my younger brother, 20 mil at the time, move out to Arizona to help her. Ugh.
That's tough on him.
By the way, this comes from Deny the Patriarchy, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Fast forward 4 years, and it's been a series of disasters for them. I have helped where I can, but they basically have been royally screwed by individual people, the insurance companies, by advocacy groups, and by mental health faculties. Well, she came to Georgia to visit for the first time since she's left and is staying for a month.
Okay.
Yay! She doesn't know my fiance, 27 Mel, very well since we started dating after she had left, and they've only interacted in one family beach trip, which went poorly, and when we moved my brother out west. She hates the fact that his family has different political views than ours. Never mind that he is very aligned to our beliefs, it's his family that's the problem. She also believes that he wants to isolate me from my family in an attempt to become emotionally harmful. Ugh. She thinks that our future children will grow up to be hateful, discriminatory, and that I will end up a battered woman. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, obviously all of this is kind of like, it sucks, but what of this that she's spewing is how she was before, or, you know, or is this just how she is after the accident? Because I think, like, if she's just a little bit more aggressive post-accident, I think you just gotta treat her like a person, you know. You can't be, I think you can't be, like, so mad at it when you, like, when you know the reasoning, or you just have to, like, focus on, okay, I know why she's acting like this.
And be mad at that rather than her.
Yeah. It's like treating, you know, you have to treat certain people with special needs differently, and this is a special need.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we address or help those?
Those, and how do we protect ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Because you can't just let her spew all of that and take it. Like, that's not the solution either. It's figuring out what the balance is.
She has her own trauma, and I know that any aggression, perceived or real, is hard for her to handle. During a discussion, my fiance made a comment how his mom had said she wanted to put me in a home if she were ever unable to take care of herself. And my mom flew off the handle in rage about how he wanted to put her in a home and how he was attacking an older, disabled woman. The fight ended badly with her walking out of the house, swearing that she would leave and never come back. She screamed hateful things about my fiance, about me, and about how I was re-traumatized by not defending her against him. That was yesterday, and after talking to my best friend and my work family, I'm realizing that I need to establish some boundaries with my mother. It hurts me. It hurts him. It hurts the relationship between my mom and I when she screams insults him and about me. She keeps saying she won't make me choose between them, but if I want to be with him, my family will hate him forever and will never even be in the same room as him or his family again. Yikes. Has anyone ever been in a situation where they had to contemplate cutting ties with a parent? I don't want to cut her out, but she is causing me so much stress, and she's actively driving a wedge in my relationship with my fiance. Am I just being a young, naive girl in love, or does this behavior seem irrational? Yes, I know she has a brain injury and is already irrational to some degree, but this seems like way more than that. To anyone else? My family is small, just me, my mom, and my younger brother at this point, and I feel like I'm in an impossible situation where I either lose my fiance or I lose my mom and my brother. Literally, any advice is appreciated. I won't be on Reddit unless I was desperate. We have an update 6 days later.
Well, I think you know that she's acting irrationally.
Mhm.
You already said it. I think that this isn't, like, to your question of, like, oh, is this even more, not just the brain injury? I think it is the brain injury. She probably has some worries that are just coming from herself.
Yeah.
But it's, like, all, like, intensified 10 times because of this brain injury. I'm assuming, obviously, I'm not her doctor, but it does seem like if this is a change that you've noticed.
As a woman doctor, I'm going to have to agree with that.
Well, woman doctor right here.
This woman's acting more irrational than most women.
Dang it. Dang it.
This is so sad and
yeah, it's tricky.
It's very tricky. 'Cause how do you protect yourself from her words?
Well, I think,
but then also have a relationship with her and your fiance at the same time, like in the same room.
I think you just got to keep having your relationship with your fiance and kind of take your mom's words with a grain of salt. And also maybe speak to her doctors a little bit more.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what OP does. Gosh. Update. I, 25 female, have been engaged to my fiance, 27 fit male, for just over 2 years. And we have dated for nearly 3 years before he proposed. We set a wedding date back when we got engaged, but postponed it because my family was going through a rough patch and it didn't feel right at the time. We are now aiming for April 2025. Venue is booked and everything. I'm a kindergartner teacher working on my master's with no plans for kids in the next 5 years, which he supports. He's an electrical engineer, also getting his master's, and disagrees with his family's beliefs. She visited for a month and it ended horribly. Me driving her to the airport 2 weeks early. Now she swears she'll never come back to his state or be in the same room as my fiance or his family. Well, while she was here, I didn't get a chance to tell her that we were planning to go through with the wedding. Things are booked, etc. I fully intend to, but with all the fighting and turmoil, I didn't have a chance. Now my fiance and his family are asking questions about where we are at in the wedding planning process, and I'm really torn about how to answer. On the one hand, we could reschedule the entire thing, and I could work with my mom to get her to agree to come. On the other hand, we could go through with the wedding, and I would have exactly 0 family members present.
Oh, what about your brother? He can't come?
He's taking care of the mom.
Yeah. I think if it is really important to you that your mom comes, which, I imagine it would be, then, maybe take that time, see if you can change her mind. Try everything in your power to do that. And then at the end of the day, if you can't, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really tough.
I'm not sure I want to keep postponing the wedding because she's not ready for me to get married yet. So would I be the a-hole if I do go through with it?
I don't think so.
You debatably be an a-hole to your mom, but is that worth anything to you?
Yeah, I think it's just like, you have to ask yourself, how much do I want my mom there? Have I done everything that I'm willing to do to get her there? And if the answer is yes, then yeah, I'll have the wedding. It's just like weighing how much you want her versus how much, how much energy you've already expended.
So we got to edit to add. My mom does have a TBI, which affects her emotional regulation. She has had the TBI since before I started dating my fiance. So he's never met her beforehand. Despite the brain injury, she swears that she's just being perfectly reasonable. And that's how an older woman who has dated a lot more than I, just the one, that I should trust her implicitly and leave him. Info everyone has been asking, so here were some of the warning signs she saw. He wouldn't leave me alone with her while she was here visiting. She's referring to the fact that while we would talk in the evenings, he was always in the room because we talked in the living room of the small house we live in. Never mind that he literally stayed out of the house for 2 days so we can hang out together, just mom and I. He does not encourage a strong bond between my mom and I. She means that he has not pushed me to go visit my mom and my brother across the country, even when they needed help. My reasoning is that I don't actually want to go across the country very often, so even when he asks me if I want to, the answer is usually no. He is attracted to the same gender and is using me as a beard.
Yikes.
Oh, she was referring to the fact that years ago, before we started dating, I made an offhand comment about how people thought that the newer server might be gay. Server. Okay.
Like a bar.
Okay. We worked in restaurants with lots of liberal college kids, and straight people were the minority. So we were kind of assumed everyone was LGBTQ+, unless told otherwise. Gay until proven straight.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I was obviously wrong, as we have been together for 5 years with no issues in the bedroom and many conversations about the facets of spicy relatedly. So she thinks he's gay.
Yeah, see, that's why she's being irrational. You're like, Mom, no, I can tell you he's not.
Dude.
Kind of confirm that.
You know how if I knew this and I thought my future mother-in-law knew this, I would toy with her so much.
And yeah, you'd be like, that man is so cute.
Just like a little offhanded comment. Like, oh, he's hot. Or I'd like do a certain laugh that she might think, or I'll go like, tee. Or like something
You
like
already
that.
do that.
Not. That's whenever I'm making a bit. Like, it would have to be a little convincing. Dude, one time, my great-grandpa's wife, she was like, Riley, I just want to let you know, like, it's just so sad seeing that all these people are gay and stuff and all this stuff. And I was so close. She probably would have believed me. That's why I didn't do it. I was so close to being like, Grandmommy, I got something to tell you. I wanted to so bad. But I was like, she probably would believe me.
Yeah.
I better not.
I better not test it.
Oh, man. Okay, so he encouraged me to lie to her. I lied about going to a trip to Puerto Rico entirely by my own choice. And despite multiple warnings by him and my best friend that it would end poorly, it did end poorly. And she does not trust me anymore, which is a separate issue. But again, my choice to lie. He actively told me it was a bad idea, and I didn't listen. Consistence, not the a-hole. We have some comments by OP. Anything else on the mom? Same thing?
Same thing. Yeah. You just gotta set up those boundaries for yourself.
Yeah, look out for yourself, girl. Literally, no one else has any concerns about him. My best friend actually lived with us for 3 years while we were dating and then engaged. And she only ever has good things to say about him. I've known her since middle school. I know her family well, and I fully trust her to tell me if I'm being an idiot or need to dump his butt. Plus, his parents are very rational and haven't raised any red flags, even going so far as to invite me and my fiance to their beach house for a week and a half. None of my coworkers, who have all met him repeatedly, have any concerns. It's just my mom and my brother, who have actually only been in his presence for less than 2 months total. She actually has only met his mom and brother once on a family beach trip 4 years ago. The trip was awkward, but nothing that should linger this long. She's basing most of her assumptions on the fact that they're from a small town in South Carolina, and he's the first to be college educated in his family. Update 2. Dude, I knew that was kind of the vibe here.
Well, yeah, no, she's clearly like
he lives in
making
Georgia.
a lot of assumptions about him that we already know aren't true. And then coupled with the fact that like she probably has already, she's got a lot of these preconceptions about who this guy is. And then she's had this traumatic brain injury. So it's like not a great combo.
I bet you it's $10.5 million that these parents have a beach house in Myrtle Beach on the north side.
I believe you. I'll believe you.
Yep. And that the dad has a family business that went really well. That's why they have the beach house. They probably rent it out sometimes. The mom is a very sweet person that knows how to make good sweet tea and cornbread. And is probably a teacher or a receptionist.
I buy it.
Or a bookkeeper.
Or a bookkeeper.
Yes. Yes, that's it.
Just your dream life.
That? No. It's not that's not my dream. No. My dream wife.
I said dream life.
Oh, dream life. No, that's not my dream life. I'll tell you my dream life.
Yeah.
Is don't tell me I do this. Is like a lawyer. It's like a boss girl of a wife, and I'm the stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing like video stuff on the side.
I love that for you.
That's what I want. And then I have a playground that is half of it is workout equipment, and the other half is playground. So I can do my squats while they're like going down the slide and stuff.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of land.
Heck yeah. And also we live on a compound together.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm on board.
Update 2. 1 month later, a little background. We had Live 360 on our phones for years since my mom was a single mom and my brother and I got home from school before she did. It's never been a problem because she checks it for peace of mind, knowing where her kids are. Now she lives across the country with my brother and I'm in a different state. she still looks at my location a lot since I'm not great at answering texts all the time. My mom is in her 50s and I'm 25. My brother is 23. Last Christmas, I turned off my Live 360 because I was going on a trip to Puerto Rico that I knew she wouldn't approve of. I lied about it when my brother asked why I turned it off. My mom caught me in the lie, and it blew up our relationship pretty badly because she felt like she couldn't trust me. I'm well aware that I was the a-hole in that part of the situation. I shouldn't have turned it off, and I definitely shouldn't have lied. However, nearly a year has passed. Our relationship is still very rocky, and recently we are on the outs about my upcoming marriage. She doesn't approve and doesn't want it to happen, but I'm still doing it.
I feel like she is somewhat, I mean, like, again, I don't know how much of this is like brain and how much is her, but it feels like she's still kind of infantilizing OP. Like she sees you as younger than you are, and she needs to help you make all of your decisions.
You need an elderly and more mature woman to guide you.
She's like, I know best. Mother knows best, so you gotta listen to me. But there comes a time in every kid's life where they have to tell their parents that I'm an adult now, and I don't need you to be that same kind of controlling figure or like guiding figure. You're still the parent. You're still, they're never gonna not be your parents, and they can always offer advice.
Yeah.
But there does come a time when they can't tell you what to do. They can only advise you. And I think she's learning that. Hopefully.
I remember whenever my mom would tell me something, it would be a suggestion. Like a friend of mine was like, you don't have to actually do that. It's just a suggestion now because you're in college.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
what?
Interesting. Really? Huh.
Crazy.
So stop taking all those vitamins now?
Yeah. I'm never taking a vitamin again.
She started using my location against me, calling and starting fights whenever I spend my time with soon-to-be in-laws, asking why I'm leaving the house in the evenings or what my plans on the weekends are that require me to drive an hour away from home. My brother texted me a couple of days ago asking me to please turn my location back on so they can know when I'm home. I'm reluctant because I'm still angry and hurt by their words and actions, and it's honestly been pretty freeing to know that my mom can't sabotage my days by calling and starting fights when I leave the house. I know she does look up my location for peace of mind. Remember, brain injury, very emotional, very anxious. I also feel that at 25, in a different state, I should have a certain level of privacy from my mom. She does not need to know my every move.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I share my location with my mom, but she doesn't share hers with me.
I knew you were about to say that.
What's up with that? I always request it. I've requested it multiple times. She just doesn't share. It's messed up.
Messed up, man. Come on. Come on. She just wants to know where you're at.
I just want to know where my mom is at.
Where's my mom?
Where's my mommy?
But I did turn it off once before. That ended up causing a huge pile of mistrust and lies. I don't want to do that ever again. So would I be the a-hole if I keep it turned off, or should I do what they want and turn it back on?
I think because you know that she's going to abuse it, keep it off.
Yeah.
They'll get used to it.
And we have an update from 7 months from this last post.
Ooh.
9 months from the original post.
Yeah.
So you're getting closer. I don't know what time it is, but it's closer to the wedding. For some background, my mom and I were decently close growing up, but she moved to Arizona when I was in junior in college, and our communication has suffered a lot. There are other circumstances that have led us here, but the gist is that I don't want to talk all the time. I do not have the social battery to talk to her every single day after school. I'm a kindergartner teacher.
Okay.
I usually,
You're busy.
You know how many other questions you've had to answer that day?
Like how many other like annoying questions this poor woman has to answer every day?
You know how patient you have to be with them kids?
Well, honestly, she's probably the best person to like be in this situation because she probably is a very patient person.
I would debate that.
You think all of her patience is used up?
Yes.
I could see that too.
You would think she had a more patient tolerance, but to a point. Like, do you like reading stories after work?
I like reading books.
But, like, would you read them out loud to me?
If you asked me to.
But would you get tired of that?
Probably.
I usually aim for once a week updates and check-ins. I don't even do that. I do, like, every other week.
With your mom? I call my mom and my dad almost every day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. At least multiple times a week.
Every day I'm sorry. I got a lot in a day. However,
busy man.
My mom is a very social person and has a hard time understanding how I can care about her when I don't talk to her. She says it feels like I'm ignoring her, that I don't care enough about her life, and that this isn't a healthy relationship. She says that I should be able to communicate more regularly with people that I love. I am stuck and struggling with how to move forward because the fact is, she is draining. Our phone calls are several hours long.
Dang. My phone calls with my mom are like 5-10 minutes. My phone calls with my dad are longer, but my mom and I, it's usually like, what do we need to talk about? Okay. And then my mom goes, okay, well, that seems like all we got to talk about. And then she hangs up.
Your mom's so funny.
So they don't last that long.
My mom's anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. My dad, we go longer.
So incredibly exhausting. And I don't want to force myself through that just to maintain a relationship with her. Then again, she's my mom, and relationships take work on both sides. Do I make myself suffer with more frequent phone calls, or is it okay not to talk to someone, especially mom, that frequently? Am I missing something about how communication should work between a mother and a daughter? I'm self-diagnosed autistic, and my mom chooses not to believe me because she thinks it's an out for me not to handle things that I should.
That's classic mom. The classic mom thing. I think it's starting to seem like not all of this is brain injury.
Yeah.
It seems like it's probably exacerbated, but it seems like a lot of this is just controlling mom.
I see what you're saying.
You know?
Best to kind of inch away.
Yeah, I think you keep the contact that you can bear.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't even blame the brother in this scenario because he's just getting fed from the mom about how bad you are.
Yeah.
And you're the villain, and he's not the villain. So he's like, yeah, whatever you say, mom. Yeah. 6 days from the last update. So, an update. We got married.
Woo! Congrats, OP.
She went through with it. A lot of y'all told me to go through with it. And after a lot of thought, we did. When my mom left in October, we were in a bad place. And we were having a lot of really awful phone calls and screaming fights. I was desperate to do something. And I finally found a therapist who helped me process some of the things that happened between my mom and I and my role in things. So, the months leading up to the wedding, my mom continued to scream at me over the phone and make threats about choosing him or her and how she hoped I wasn't the kind of girl who got rid of her family to please a man who would end up leaving her anyways. She was downright hateful, and I spent a lot of time crying over our relationship because I couldn't believe that it's gotten to this point. Oh, that's so sad.
It's tough.
Girls support girls.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's good that you're going to therapy, though.
We got married in April, and my mom and brother did not attend. I was able to reconnect with my mom's cousin, who I used to be close with as a child, and she had her family come to the wedding.
Oh, I'm glad you had some family at the wedding. That's really nice.
I had my best friend, her family, and my work family there to support me. Okay. A close friend performed the ceremony. Plus, of course, my husband's family was very supportive. There were times I missed my mom and I wanted to see her smile in the audience, but I was ultimately glad that she wasn't there. I would have felt like I had to perform and cater to her every whim, and I'm so glad I was able to just have a lovely day with all the people who came to celebrate with us. And you can celebrate every single day of your lives for the next 72 days by listening to stories just like this. Go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple, and listen to stories just like this one. We have a little bit left here. How do you feel about these boundaries?
I think they were necessary. I think OP was kind of burning herself out and trying to have this relationship with her mom when her mom was so against kind of just any step OP took to have a little bit more autonomy in her life and a little bit more like independence. And so I think she needed to create those boundaries. And I think maybe she could come back around later in life once her mom realizes that her husband's not terrible.
Yeah.
And maybe they could reclaim that relationship, but for now I think this was probably the best.
Agreed.
For both of them.
So, just to reaffirm my feelings about her not being there, my mom did not contact me at all the day of and only called me a week later to ask whether I would be sharing any pictures with her.
Oh.
I did send her a few because I thought a small part of her might care, but all she did was comment about how it looked like a cheap Amazon wedding.
Oh.
She hoped I was happy with my crappy choices and that they were worth the loss of my family.
That's terrible. I'm sorry, OP.
She hit the block button right after this conversation. I missed her constantly, despite all her issues, but I haven't cut her off completely. We've been having a hard time communicating at all right now, and I don't know if it'll ever get better. I am happily married, and I don't regret it. Thanks for reading this far, and I appreciate all the kindness and honesty I got from my original post. And that's the end of that story. Dang, OP.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. You got this, OP. You got you got a new chosen family.
Yeah.
And I really hope that you can, have a relationship at some point with your mom. But for now, focus on the people that want to support you and uplift you, not the people trying to drag you down.
Yep, not a crab in a bucket. You're better than a crab in a bucket.
You are better than a crab in a bucket.
We got another story coming up. We're going to grab that right now.